This is Atomic Shinobi, and today I'm going to narrate first part of What If Naruto was banished by Minato and became emperor. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
In front of an adult filled room, a blond man addressed a younger version of himself, saying, "Naruto, you stand here accused of being responsible for the loss of Uchiha heir, interference with a mission above your rank, and endangerment to you fellow shinobi. How do you plea?" All the boy could do was glare at the man. In addition to being bound, he was facing false charges. He knew that there was nothing he could say to save himself after looking into the eyes of half the people present. They probably set something up against him because, in their opinion, they were delighted to see him punished. Naruto started to narrate his life, saying, "There is no point, you already made your decision. This is only a formality. Review Orochimaru of the Sannin, the Leaf's renegade ninja, has offered to train Sasuke Uchiha." In an attempt to test his strength, Sasuke killed his brother, who killed the entire Uchiha clan. Although the general public was unaware of it, some people knew that the Uchiha clan was preparing a coup d'état in response to the injustice they had experienced. A renegade Uchiha released the Nine-Tails Fox 13 years ago, and it attacked the Hidden Leaf village. The children of Minato Namikaze, the current Hokage, were resealed with the Nine-Tails Fox. To ensure his successor could live to raise his children and defend the village, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, sealed the area. Mito, the red-haired daughter, was given the yang half of the chakra by the elderly man. After the extraction, the yin half was sealed back into Kushina Namikaze, the previous Jinshuriki, to preserve her life. Ultimately, Naruto, a young, blonde baby with whiskers, was sealed with the soul that governs the chakra. Naruto never saw himself as a member of the Uzumaki or Namikaze families. He was forced to deal with the Leaf Village's wrath on his own as he grew older. Naruto's parents hardly ever give him any attention because they think the village is more important than the kids. Since Mito was the Jinshuriki of the Nine Tails, they were all focused on her in the hopes that she would one day protect the village from all the treats in the world. No one in Naruto's family acknowledged his existence. He was raised in pain and alone. He only made friends with the Ichiraku family and the Uchiha clan. Similar to Naruto, the Uchiha clan was negatively perceived because of the rogue Uchiha's involvement in the Nine Tails attack. The clan's leader, Fugaku, was aware of his treatment and gave him preferential treatment over his family and the village. With the exception of Sasuke, Fugaku's family became the family that Naruto never had. They never got along because Sasuke thought Naruto was taking his place. Naruto was devastated and isolated after Itachi was given the order to kill the clan. Except for the nice father-daughter team who run a ramen stand, he would never acknowledge anyone in the village. Naruto started to adopt the attitude that Minato would never tolerate. The attitude that your needs are far more important than those of the village. He remained silent and never voiced suspicion. He desired to leave the place that would force 6-year-olds to lead dreadful lives. A life he was forced to lead. Since his parents only ever cared about Mito, Naruto tried his hardest to be considered normal during his time in the academy so they wouldn't bother him. In those days, Mito would attempt to reunite with her estranged twin brother, but she was the hero of Konoha and the daughter of the Hokage because she was the Jinchuriki of the Fox's chakra, and the people would damn Naruto for possessing the Fox's soul. He would slip away without speaking to anyone, including nearly everyone his age. Even after Mito brought it up, his parents didn't notice that he had moved out of the Namikaze compound and was living somewhere else. After graduating, Naruto even went so far as to write just Naruto on his shinobi register card. No Uzumaki or Namikaze. He saved another Jinchuriki, saved the land of snow, now known as the land of springs, brought freedom and hope to the land of wave, and became a hero to the village hidden in the waterfall during his brief tenure as a Leaf's ninja. His team, which included Sensei Kakashi, Mito Namikaze, and Sasuke Uchiha, was the only issue. At any time, Kakashi gave Mito a lot of support. He gave Mito and Sasuke the credit while fabricating his reports. However, Naruto only engaged in serious combat when his team was hidden from view. In contrast to Naruto, the boy whom he did not recognize as having contributed in any way to the mission, Kakashi thought that Mito and Sasuke had done it because they had any training. Then came the incident in Nadeshiko. To keep the promise Jiraiya had previously made, an all-female shinobi village arrived at the Leaf. Unfortunately, Mito was Jiraiya's only pupil, so an alliance was impossible. Jiraiya and Minato cursed this because, despite its small size, Nadeshiko village was a powerful village. I never thought about Naruto being used. Other than people using him to get close to Mito, Naruto never had any true friends. His comrades are rarely his savior. He will devise plans that suit his requirements. Kakashi raised this issue during a team meeting. Although he only trains Mito and Sasuke, he suggests that they collaborate. He instructs Naruto to practice chakra control. Naruto completed all of them and made some of his own. Since the leaf won't help him get stronger, he will have to find another source, which will only deepen the rift between them. The foreigners recognized Naruto as an orphan during the Chunin exam, in which all 5 great villages took part. Although it didn't bother him, the other Kage began to wonder after he defeated Neji and Mito in his match. They observed that they share Mito and Minato's blonde hair, blue eyes, and whiskers. According to Minato, he was his son. Since this was the first time in his life that he had ever thought about Naruto, he was at a loss for words. When they saw the expression on his face, all of the Kages understood what it meant. They were disappointed in Minato's choice of a talented son, including his rival the Raikage, Mito's and Jinshuriki of the Soul of the Fox's status were made public. The Kages understand that even the most honorable of the 5 will act in the same manner as the others. Ignore everything else and focus on training the powerful person. This man's actions show that he only cares about the leaf, despite the initial belief that he wanted peace for the entire shinobi world. Gaara switched into full-tailed beast mode during the invasion, but Naruto intervened. He defeated Gaara with Byakko, his white tiger summoning boss. One day, by accident, Naruto used the summoning jutsu and teleported to the White Tiger clan's den. He had to let them examine his mind in order to become the summoner of the legendary clan. You die if they don't like what they see. You're in if they like it. Naturally, Naruto passes with flying colors. They saw a lot of hatred for the village and its residents, but they were not impressed by a boy who was raised with hatred and never sought retribution. Despite her protests, Minato gave Mito the credit for defeating Gaara after the invasion. All Sasuke could see of Naruto was his hate-filled eyes. He was aware that Naruto was much stronger than he gave the impression, and that, prior to their passing, he had a cordial relationship with his own family. He was unable to tolerate Naruto. He was referred to as the Leaf's Prince. Hell, in order to fortify the Hokage family, he and Mito were engaged. Sasuke is a better son, Minato believed. Sasuke became a victim of the curse seal and used it more frequently. He makes the bold decision to go after Orochimaru in an attempt to gain power. Believing that Sasuke had been abducted by Orochimaru, Minato organized a team to retrieve him the following morning after he had left the village. Shikamaru, Kiba, Choji, Neji, and Mito made up the team. Naruto was not thought to be able to complete an A-rank mission. Genins and one Chunin were sent because they were Sasuke's friends, even though any Jonin or Anbu could have been sent on the mission. But Naruto was torn about staying home. He wouldn't care normally, but to him, Mikoto and Fugaku were like parents. Naruto pondered for a while before running to join them. Naruto knew they loved Sasuke, so he couldn't let Orochimaru take charge of such a jerk. Naruto only makes it to the Valley of the End, where Mito and Sasuke are engaged in combat. An old foe stopped Naruto from joining the attempt to capture Sasuke and Kabuto just as he was about to do so. Both Kabuto and Naruto were able to see through their disguises during the exam. Kabuto was aware of Naruto's danger. Only when Naruto began using Kurama's chakra did it become clearer that the two had engaged in combat in the Forest of Death. The Nine-Tailed Fox, Kurama. At a young age, Naruto is able to communicate with the Nine-Tailed soul. The revelation that the fox is a female chakra construct only shocked me. To see her appearance in my story, search Duluo Dalu 2, Ma Xiaotao. Just picture her with 9 crimson tails. Kurama would teach Naruto the shinobi way all of his life. After Mikoto's passing, Naruto would view her as his only remaining mother. In the end, Kabuto escaped and Sasuke prevailed. Before Kakashi arrived and arrested Naruto for not being assigned to the mission, Naruto was forced to retrieve his estranged twin. Final recap. Minato asked calmly, "Is that your plea?" For Naruto, it was the end. The punishment meted out to him caused the civilian members to drool. From birth, he was aware that they wanted him dead. One civilian council member falsely claimed that he had assigned Rock Lee as backup when Naruto attempted to bring up the fact that Lee was also joining the mission without the Hokage's approval. The Hokage alone is capable of doing this. Naruto tried to annoy them by saying, "Just get this over with. Those asshole wants to see me dead. I bet they are the one leading this trial against me. Something that only a shinobi of high ranking could do. They only want power," he knew. Therefore, they will obtain political power if they are unable to obtain shinobi power. How dare you? You demon! You should respect us, we own you. The irate civilian members yelled. Both Minato and Kushina were taken aback because this was the first time Naruto had been brought up in the council, and this was how they responded. Naruto answered, I do because it is the truth. You are a demon. You should be honored that we spend so much time on you. What? Kushina and Minato murmured. The Hokage do not think that their family, who view all members of Konoha as family, would harbor such animosity toward one of their own. In an attempt to process the news that Naruto had been beaten by his village, Minato yelled, enough! To get everyone to stop. The council made a unanimous vote. You are hereby banished from the leaf. All Naruto could do was scoff at this. He anticipated being executed in public. The civilian council would get away with it because it was the final Uchiha. After he leaves Konoha, they might have something else for him. He knew Root knew him completely, and he knew Root knew him completely. As he was pulled away by Anbu after a civilian counselor called for him, Naruto said, know this, Namikaze. I don't forgive and I don't forget. You will one day regret this choice of being a slave to such a corrupt system. Minato was starting to realize that Naruto might be telling the truth. It was astounding how much power a mere civilian possessed. They only handled domestic matters. Because they were ignorant of the shinobi system and would harm the village, they were not permitted to have this much power. Was it the right decision for me to make? Land of Wind, Naruto has been exiled from the village for a number of days. He traveled to the Windy Land. Kurama informed him of a potential fresh start. A location where he can actually establish himself. A new world. It's more like half a world than a whole new one. The other half of the world, to be precise, the bigger half. The world was in disarray when the Sage of the Sixth Path lived. Despite the fact that humans made up the majority of the world's population, the land was teeming with species of all kinds, and they possessed greater power than any human. The sage made a decision because he was afraid of their strength. He used the Ten Tails' power to divide the world into East and West after rising to the position of Jinshuriki. The West turns into the nation of endless war, while the East becomes the nation of elements. He left all of the people on the West to fend for themselves after the wall was constructed. He later cleared the East of all non-human beings, believing that all non-human entities would only bring about death and destruction, and that only humans could bring about peace. He killed every non-human being by himself. Children and women were not exempt. Because some people in the West had the ability to shine over the wall, he is more commonly known as a monster in the West than a god in the East. This is the source of the shinobi race's fear of anything non-human. Because they were trapped in the East, the remaining demons fled into hiding. Demons like Morio and the tailed beasts that were separated from the Ten Tails. They began to despise the sage. Morio made the decision to exact revenge on people. After escaping the sage, the tailed beasts made the decision to prey on humans. Since the Ten Tails was first made by a powerful person in the West, the tailed beasts would never forgive him for removing them from their home. They also attacked people in retaliation, but humans were left with a new ability to defend themselves. In an attempt to unite humanity, the sage created Ninshu, but they transformed it into ninjutsu. Similar to how all other races use power, they use it for war. They combat the tailed beasts with it. Jinshurikis were then created by sealing them into humans. Tailed beasts were sealed because they could not be killed due to their immortality. The Jinshurikis were instantly shunned by society after their birth. Any association with non-human entities rendered them adversaries. They were regarded as weapons for humans. Or, depending on who you ask, weapons. In the East, very few people were able to empathize with the demons. As demon lovers, they were also exterminated. It's hot! Exclaimed Naruto. Byako, the leader of the White Tiger Summons, returned home as soon as he reached the border. Are you sure this is the only way to make it to the wall, Kurama? Naruto asks after 2 days of journeying through the never-ending desert. It's this way or you go through the land of Earth. I'm pretty sure that they won't like you going into their territory. Even when you have been banished. Just soldier on. Responded the Kitsune, enjoying the sight of her host strolling through the desert under the scorching sun. Following several more hours of sweltering walking. Hey, I see it. It's the wall, he exclaimed as he started to leap with delight. Then abruptly stopped. How'd I get over it? You said that the sage made it, so chakra can't affect it? As she started to take over Naruto's body and his conscious left control of his body, Kurama remarked, yeah, chakra can't touch the wall, so the humans won't explore the other side. But you have me. I still have some power to get you over the wall. Don't worry and leave it to me. As she took the wheel, Naruto's hair turned red and his whiskers became more pronounced. She channeled her spirit power, also known as prana, mana, or magic, into the wall and a doorway opened, saying, "There should be. Triple A. Here is the secret door. Thank you, you bastard." She smiled as she recalled the man who had split her original form and sealed it, saying, "I never thought that having a piece of your power would get me back home." In the West, after that, Naruto regained control over his body. His whiskers are becoming less noticeable as his hair turns blonde. Opening his eyes, Naruto looked out into the new world. He only saw a stunning landscape, but he said, "So this is the West, I thought I would see bodies and destruction everywhere." Nature appears serene. He was surrounded by a beautiful forest, birdsong, and the sound of a nearby rushing river. It made him think of the forest that surrounded Konoha, the location where he would typically hide out and stay when he was in Konoha. She was relieved to be back where she would be accepted and remarked, "Yes, this place is definitely peaceful, most likely due to people not being around the wall. It can't be taken down without the power of the sage, which I so happen to inherit after the sage's death. I wish my other sibling would see this. How I miss home. So now what? Go north. I remember there being the largest human city. The city of Camelot. The other race may not take a liking to you, so be careful. It's true. In addition to humans, there are other races." She was not unique among demons. Devils are also weaker than demons, but they have the capacity to grow stronger like people. Then came the fallen angel, which is the angels that God sent to guard the world. Yokai, such as Nekomata, Kitsune, and many others. Ghouls are mutant humans with superior strength and speed, but they have the drawback of being able to only consume other humans. And lastly, the human race. The race is more adaptive and has the potential to grow stronger. Many people have fallen in love with other races because they can deal with their biology. Their offspring typically grow up to be either human or the race of the human's spouse. They would only be considered half-breed even then, or a late arrival when Kurama was last here. In just a few thousand years, how much has changed? I will, but I want to meet the other races. They seem like they could be good friends. I mean, look at us. We are a family. Naruto grinned. This only made Kanade smile. Naruto has been on his adventure for a month now. It didn't go as planned when he ran into the other races. The majority of them attacked Naruto right away. Naruto barely makes it through their run.in. Without Kurama's intervention, Naruto would have died. It was there that he realized the power of the race was far greater than that of chakra. Shinobi villages would undoubtedly lose if war extended to the elemental nation. Some of the more amiable individuals were encountered by Naruto. Rewind, raising his hands to demonstrate that he poses no threat to the ghoul, Naruto said, "Hey, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm just a simple traveler." The ghoul said, "How can I trust you? You humans always hurt me." Naruto exclaimed in shock that a ghoul could be harmed by humans. Wait. How can a ghoul be hurt by humans? I mean, aren't we weak? The ghoul gives him a perplexed look. I'm from over the wall. I was told by a friendly demon that live in the east that I could get a new start if I come here. I'm just trying to start over. The ghoul intently examines Naruto. Just the concept seems unfeasible. She could see there was not a single lie in Naruto's eyes as the ghoul watched him. After one explanation, after listening to Naruto's story, the ghoul remarked, "Man, you humans sound pitiful in the east." Naruto exclaimed in shock, "Wait, human can fight on the same level as the others as well. Yeah, your ninjutsu, as far as I can tell, comes from the idea of wielding the spiritual side of energy and the physical side. But it seems like you people from the east only took half of each, so your body doesn't break. If you use the full power of one side, it will be enough to fight any race. Chakra sounds like downgraded version of energy here. You humans evolved after the wall was put up. You guys couldn't compete with us, so you fought hard and evolved into what humans are now. Humans definitely earn the title as the most adaptable race. You guys develop a body to handle the spiritual side, prana, mana, or magic as you could call it. There is many name for it. Or you could learn the physical side of energy, do-chi. The problem is the majority have trouble mastering those two art. Only the strong could handle it. Also, your senjutsu sounds weak. I mean, senjutsu is one of the power that is closer to God, yet it can only take down your shinobi that are barely on the same level as a warlord's lieutenant. I think you guys are making the nature energy you take in weaker, by mixing it with your chakra. The nature energy is most likely diluted by your chakra, so you can handle it. I mean, anyone can learn how to use nature energy, but that doesn't mean you should. Some races, like the Kitsune and Nekomata, are more known to have an affinity for nature energy. Everyone else, it may as well be suicide. Using pure nature energy can easily make you a warlord of a demon territory," said the ghoul, surprising Naruto that it's possible to learn a stronger form of energy now. As he sets out for Camelot, Naruto says, "Thank you very much. I hope I can call you friend in the future." With a worried expression, he asked, "Are you sure you don't want a bite out of me? I mean, I don't want you to starve. I can't take a bite out of a cute guy like yourself. I will feel bad about it later." She smiled. It made him red in the face. "I hope we see each other in the future," he concluded. "Me too." He waved his new friend off, saying, "By the way, the name is Naruto. My name is Tuka Kirishima. I hope you find happiness here," with a grin. The end of the flashback. During his journey, Naruto tried to learn how to use one aspect of his energy, but each time he failed. He chose to put it on hold until he arrived in Camelot. Arriving at Camelot's gate and entering the realm of humans, a pair of guards pointed their halberds at him and yelled, "Halt! What is your business here?" Naruto simply lifted his arm. Naruto declared, "I'm just a traveler looking for a new home." "What do you have to offer to Lord Oda Nobunaga then? To join his kingdom, you have to offer our warlord something." "What? To join, you must sacrifice something for their leader," believed to be confusing Naruto, thinking that they would accept everyone. Then all of a sudden, one of the men who appeared at the gate said, "There is no point. Put on a typical mage's attire." As the mage realized Naruto possessed demonic power in human form, he yelled, "I sense something from you. You're not human. Kill him." With the intention of killing him, the guards rush at him. Naruto leapt back, but he was not stabbed in the stomach. After drawing a kunai, Naruto hurled it at the guards, but it only caused a dent. Oh no! Their armor prevents even wind. Enhanced kunai from passing through. The West is a real threat. Naruto started to get anxious. He then began performing hand signals for wind jutsu. The mage cried out, "Oh no, you don't, demon." He is using a firebolt spell to blast Naruto, knocking him out. They started to move in for the kill, but someone showed up. A woman wearing a cloak covered a body and said, "The boy belongs to me. I won't have you harm him." She lifted Naruto up and carried him away using magic. One of the guards turns to face the mage and asks, "Who was that?" "Someone that should be feared," the mage asked, shivering from the realization of her true identity. He hoped it wasn't her because the amount of mana she was exuding only pointed to one person. A woodland outside of Camelot. After being saved by our enigmatic woman, Naruto is just abandoned by a lake in the forest. Then a blonde woman with green eyes arrived and took a bath in the nearby lake. "Who is he?" she asked. Naruto moaned as he started to awaken. Ah. He looks around after opening his eyes, being attacked and then ending up in a forest. An unidentified voice said, "Find me." Kurama did. "Don't worry, you were left here by a mage who saved you." Kurama interrupted Naruto, saying, "Just take a little time to relax and we'll come up with something else to do." Assuming he would inquire as to his most recent memory. Naruto thought, "All right, but did you hear that?" but was cut off. As she helps, a girl with blonde hair and green eyes asks, "Hey, are you all right?" Naruto reached up to her hand to get back up and said, "I'm fine. Thank you. I'm Naruto. Who are you, Ms.?" The woman pulled Naruto up and introduced herself as Arturia Britain. "How did you end up looking beat up, Naruto?" "I was heading to Camelot, but they attacked me because I couldn't pay up." He told her a lie, not wanting him to frighten the cute girl in her casual attire. A.N. Saber's casual attire in Fate Stay Night. As she starts to examine him, she says, "Yeah, getting into Camelot isn't the smartest thing to do. Nobunaga is nothing but a tyrant. Why would you go to him?" "Hey, I'm new here. I came from over the wall and heard that Camelot is where humans are the strongest. So I need some sort of starting point." Unexpectedly, Arturia. She expressed her skepticism about Naruto's story by saying, "Impossible. No one can cross the wall, it's simply impossible." A woman's voice came out of nowhere and said, "That is where you are wrong, Missy. Naruto was saved by the same individual. There spoke a legend that everyone here knows." Both Naruto and Arturia drew at a sword and a kunai, respectively, and exclaimed, "Wait, who are you?" Melon removed her cloak and said, "You should have heard of me, lady. My name is Merlin. I am the boar's sin of gluttony. and I am one of the members of the dead 7 deadly sins. She is perceived as a tall, slender, and attractive woman who has 3 beauty marks beneath her right eye. She is wearing an extremely revealing long coat with an open fur collar, short shorts with a heart on them, and boots that reach her thighs. Merlin has black hair that reaches his shoulders. As Arturia starts to bow down in deference, she says, "I thought the sins died out long ago, Lady Melin." "They did. All the other members are dead. I'm the last survivor and I'm planning on rebuilding the sins with this young man's help," Merlin replied. When he called their attention to himself, Naruto said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Time out. First off, who are you?" Surprisingly, Arturia said, "Of course you won't know. You are from the East." At first, she didn't believe him, but it becomes more credible after hearing it from a legendary person. "I saw you cross over, but first off, introduction. I'm Merlin, the boar's sin of gluttony. The last member of the legendary 7 deadly sins. Each sins represent a person's power. My power is close to that of gluttony. You do know about the 7 sins, right?" Naruto responds with a nod. She turned to Naruto after saying, "Well, I'm Arturia Britain. I'm just a simple woman trying to have a life." The enigmatic voice said, "Find me," but Naruto ignored it, focusing on the situation in front of him. Sigh. "I'm Naruto. A little background information later." Merlin exclaimed, "I never expected the sage to be a cold man. I thought that he was a peaceful man." The sage, she had always heard, aimed for peace. He seemed to be aiming for a world where only people could live in peace. Arturia smiled sorrowfully at Naruto and remarked, "Well, at least now that I know that humans don't change. Even in the peaceful East, there's problems and corruption." Observing his struggles in a more tranquil land than the West, Naruto looks at Merlin and asks, "Okay, now what is this legend you keep on talking about?" She just gazed at Arturia. She let out a sigh. "There is an old story that my mom will always tell me when I was younger. Ever since that the endless war started, all race prayed for a miracle. For someone to stop the fighting and save us all. God answered that prayer. But it wasn't what we wanted. God crafted a sword. A sword that is proof of the person's right to save the land and rule the West. God placed the sword in a stone somewhere close by Camelot. The one that pulls the sword out of the stone will save us or conquer us. The golden sword of the victorious, Caliburn." Arturia said as she told the tale. Naruto was surprised. "Come to me," the enigmatic voice said. Naruto continues to disregard it. Arturia gave Merlin a startled look as he said, "That is part of it. Time forgot about one thing." As the two girls assemble, Naruto is the center of attention. Legend says that a man that did the impossible would be the one to unite the lands. Naruto started to wave his hand in denial, saying, "What? I mean, I didn't do anything impossible. How can I be the one? You did cross the border between the East and West. That alone is said to be impossible. I saw you crossing the wall, so I followed you ever since then. You should at least try to pull out the sword. The world needs a king. A fair and just king. So far, Naruto, you are a kind man. You chosen to not kill the ghoul that ran into you. You saved anyone that was in danger, and you have yet to kill anyone when you crossed." Merlin said with assurance that he was the one. Arturia exclaimed in shock, "What? You are telling me that you haven't killed anyone in the West, but you have killed people in the East? People in the West are more dangerous and shouldn't be left to kill others." "I don't care about that. I gave them the chance to leave and not harm anyone. They took it and that was enough to satisfy me. Like I said, that sounds like an ideal king for a peaceful world. At least try to pull out the sword. You have met all the qualification to draw the sword. And most importantly, you would be the one to unite the West instead of conquer it," Merlin replied. As Naruto grinned at her, Arturia proudly remarked, "There is still a problem. No one has found Caliburn. It is said to be in the forest by Camelot. That is why I live here. To find it and stop the fighting. If he had Caliburn, he would have the same thought." Merlin laughed at Arturia's claim, saying, "It was meant to be for the once and future king. Do you really believe that anyone can find it?" "Wait, you mean?" Merlin began, "Yes, I think Naruto could find it. He is probably the one who finds the sword, so the sword might call him out." But was interrupted by a hand raise. In Naruto's grasp. Naruto looked sheepish as he said, Ladies, I have been hearing a voice since I woke up. I think it may relate to Caliburn." Extend the eyes of both women. "Really?" Arturia exclaimed. Merlin asks gravely, "Don't lie. Did you truly hear a voice?" "Why? Yeah. It keeps on saying, 'Find me,' for a while. Then after hearing about Caliburn, it said, "Come to me," Naruto said. Arturia remarked, "It must be true then." She held his hand and said, "You are the one to save us." Merlin said, "Let's follow it then." Receiving a nod from both, they stood up and trailed Naruto. A couple of hours spent strolling through the forest. A weary Arturia remarked, "I'm starting to feel like you're taking us on a crazy quest, Naruto." Merlin keeps walking. Then they both stop. They stopped and collided with Naruto without Arturia noticing, causing both of them to topple over. Arturia shouted at Naruto, "Hey! Why did you stop? But take a look at what's in front of them." A golden sword lodged in a big rock. "Is that?" "Yes," was Merlin's smiling response. "The power it's giving off can only be from the legend." Naruto simply approaches it. "Claim us," Caliburn exclaimed. The two girls were taken aback, influencing them to think Naruto is the one. Naruto approached the stone. He grasped the sword slowly. When he drew the sword, everyone was blinded by its brilliant golden sheen. As Arturia felt Caliburn's light, she remarked, "It's so warm." She gave him a cross-arm smile and said, "Finally, we are saved." Naruto let out a painful scream. "Naruto!" exclaimed both girls. "Naruto!" exclaimed both girls. Naruto began to cry out in agony. Something happened to Naruto when he pulled Caliburn out of the stone. Is it really your belief that a mere mortal can wield the weapon that God herself created? Naruto is the only thing Arturia and Merlin need to worry about. Arturia was attempting to contact Merlin, who was assessing the whole situation. Arturia was unable to approach. The girl was unable to approach Caliburn because of the pressure he was radiating. "Lady Merlin. We must take action. I can't listen to him yelling in pain any longer," Arturia exclaimed, her eyes welling with tears. In the brief time she spent with him, she realized how much they had in common, probably making friends fast. After pausing to consider it, the statement, "What can we do? Caliburn is stronger than any of us. It is obviously doing something to Naruto. Naruto is from the east. His body isn't capable of handling power like the one you've seen in the west. Caliburn must be rebuilding his body." But, as she waited for Naruto's transformation to be completed, Merlin remarked, "Naruto is weak. He is not like us, he will need this transformation. The only thing we can do is wait." Arturia can only observe with agony. She was powerless. She is unable to assist the person in front of her who is in pain, a sensation she detested. Arturia had always wished to live in a society free from attempts by individuals to harm one another. A just and equitable world. The legend was always talking about this world. She always dreamed as a child of being the one who extracts the sword from the stone. She now understands that the blonde man is the one who will fulfill her dream. It was a dream Naruto could support. 10 more minutes of dazzling light later, Naruto's metamorphosis is complete. Approximately 4 minutes ago, he already lost consciousness. He could not bear the pain any longer. Arturia rushed to Naruto to see how he was doing after he fell while holding Caliburn. Arturia said with a tone of relief, "He is alive." Merlin frowned as she used her magic to scan his body and said, "He will need rest. However, this is a problem." "What is it, Lady Merlin?" Merlin remarked, beside his missing whisker mark. Arturia appeared dissatisfied. His whiskers kind of appealed to her. It gave him a cute appearance. Please be aware that Arturia Britton will never acknowledge her fondness for cutesy things. He has a new power. He has magic network. Using one of the many terms for a magic container, she asked incoherently, "Magic circuit? So he is a mage?" Many people use a variety of terms for magic and anything related to it because there is no official system in place. Yes and no, he is a mage, but that transformation is something else. Sensing him, he's more different than a standard mage. His magical signature is more along the line as angelic magic. She questioned, "Like the angels from heaven?" Getting her to nod. "Grab him, he needs rest." An attractive woman with 9 tails and red hair exclaimed, "Hold on, are you gonna leave me behind?" Drawing her sword, Arturia aimed it at her. Arturia demanded, "Who are you and state your business here?" as Merlin mentioned Alden. A tiny crystal ball that she held in high regard. Her demonic power is something that Merlin senses and should not be taken lightly. Although the new woman is undoubtedly weaker than Merlin, she couldn't jeopardize Naruto's safety while he was unconscious. "Really, I'm hurt. Naruto was talking about me to you guys a few hours ago. Who else can be a beautiful redhead like me?" she said while grinning like a fox. After a couple of minutes, "Kurama," both exclaimed. As she spins around like a young girl flaunting her dress, she sings, "Bingo," but Kurama is actually flaunting her. assets. As she lowered her crystal ball, Merlin questioned, "How did you get out? To my understanding, you were forever trapped into the blonde." Arturia sheathed her sword and did the same. She indicated the sword in Naruto's hand and said, "No idea, but my guess it had to do with the golden sword." Getting Caliburn's eyes on the other two. A voice from Caliburn said, "Of course it was me. I used the voice of Ilia's fragment, or more commonly known as Ilia from Trinity 7. Everyone's eyes widened as they watched it. "You talk?" the three of them asked simultaneously. Giving the three time to process the new information, he said, "Do you really expect that a weapon created by God herself to not be sentient? I mean, people will come challenge Master to claim me. I can only be wielded by Master and others that are approved by him. I sense that Master doesn't desire you to be trapped, Lady Kurama, so I freed you, by giving him magic source to compensate for your departure from Master. The source that Master received are special. They are personally designed by God, so he will be a great mage if he wishes. What truly matters is that he has more power to fulfill his destiny. I'm sorry for not informing about what I was doing. I was quite tired. Waiting in the stone for thousands of years tend to make someone sleepy." The two girls merely give them a blink. Kurama didn't care about the how part because she was too busy enjoying her freedom. Kurama jumped with joy as she skipped around, saying, "Of course it is." Arturia seemed unsure of how to react, so she said, "I guess it is okay." She still doesn't have complete faith in people of other races. Finally taking in the most recent information, Merlin said, "As long as it helps at the end, I'm fine with it." As the other two conversed, Arturia carried Naruto back to her house. Without discovering something for herself, Merlin couldn't let thousands of years of knowledge pass. She had Caliburn in her sheath. Caliburn said, "Hello," as she attracted everyone's attention in Arturia's modest house. The two humans nod in agreement as they say, "I'm new here, but all of you know the legend, right?" Kurama nods. "So Master will accept his role to unite the land?" She has known her former host for a long time and his desire to assist others. "I watched the land from the beginning. The only way he has a chance if Master gains more power. I recommend starting with gaining the aid of the pair heavenly dragons." "What? How can we get those two monsters to help unite the land? They spent their time destroying than helping." Arturia yelled. "I already dislike the plan." "Calm down. That is true, Albion and Diedrich has been raising the land for a long time. However, they were sent with me by God, so they will answer to Master if he shows me. They are loyal to the once and future king. Now he finally arrives. They will accept him as their master. However, they may test him, so Master should focus on gaining power." The three of them nodded in agreement. After 4 days when Naruto finally awakens, he groans in agony. "Oh, what happened to me?" he asks as he starts to stand up and study the space. Merely observing a sword. Caliburn exclaimed, "Oh Master, you are finally awake," with delight. Naruto retreated beneath the covers and said, "Blink blink. All right, back to sleep. I'm still dreaming." "How rude, Master. I'm real, this isn't a dream." He pointed to the sword and said, "Then how are you talking? Swords don't talk." "Simple. I was created by God," he said, "blink." "Fine. You are real. This was to be expected, since all of God's creations are unique. So what do I call you?" "Caliburn is fine, Master." "Oh, I should mention that I modified you." "What?" he exclaimed in shock. The thought of ruining his biology did not sit well with him. The words, "Sorry Master. You are weak," struck him squarely in the heart. Human, another blow to his heart. That lacks power, and another blow. And can't take on anyone on this side of the world alone. Ultimately, Naruto collapses to his knees, sobbing. "I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Master. I did some good for you." Weakly, he asked, "Is there anything else different with me?" His pride was still bruised by her words. "Your eye color change. Really? What color are they now?" "Well, one eye is still blue. Your other eye is red now. I believe that the red eye represent your newfound magical power." Unconcerned with his now heterochromatic eyes, he said, "That is great. At least I will be able to stand out now. So what is this great magical power that I have?" In fact, he thought it was cool. Naruto's eyes widened as he said, "Well, your magical source are special. They were designed by God. They have the power to connect to the king's treasury. I believe she called it Gate of Babylon. It is a special gate that only you can summon. It's a pocket dimension that holds every weapon ever created. God believed that the treasure of the world belongs to her chosen one. That is you. So let me get this straight. I can summon any weapon I want that has been ever created? Yes. Even the one in the east, yes. Naruto exclaimed with joy. Hell yeah. A whole arsenal of the greatest weapons sound badass. He said, hey, Kurama. Did you hear that? But she didn't answer. Kurama has not responded yet. The phrase, oh, master, catches his attention. Due to the immense power of your new circuits, I was able to safely release Lady Kurama from her imprisonment. She, as well as the Lady Arturia and Lady Merlin are out now. Naruto screamed, really, please don't lie. I don't want to think this is a lie. He had always wished for her freedom. Yes. They will return at the end of the day. Although, Lady Merlin had to leave. She said, she needed to rebuild the 7 deadly sins for the upcoming war. What war? He asked anxiously. The Unity War. You will be fighting to unite the land, right? There was silence for a minute. What? I can't fight in a war. They're too powerful. I mean, I want peace in the West, but I can't do it. Now. You have new powers and you can train to become stronger. Lady Kurama told us about your desire to see the races living together in peace. If you train hard, it will become a reality. Also, it's your destiny to rule the West. You pulling me from the stone is proof. I'm just happy that you're a fair and just man, making him laugh. With fire in his eyes, Naruto said, I'm in. So how are we gonna do this? First, you will be training in swordsmanship with me and Lady Arturia. Master, I believe she is quite taken with you in the short time you spent with her, causing him to blush. He thought she was lovely. Then Lady Kurama will be teaching you tactics and understanding the other races with Lady Merlin. Lady Merlin will appear when she wants. Who will teach me magic? Oh, Lady Merlin went to talk to one of the noble family remaining that knows magecraft. You shouldn't learn any form of magic. Your circuits are designed to learn magic. There is one family that offered to teach you. I'm sensing a, but it isn't a family, it is more of a person. The Tasaka family. There is only one person left. Her name is Rin Tasaka. She is about your age, but is a genius when it comes to magic. Okay. I can handle that. Is there something else I should know? One last thing. Arturia said she will be joining your adventure from now on. What? Time skip 3 years, Naruto extracted Caliburn from the stone 3 years ago. He has been training with his friends for 3 years in order to get ready for his conquest. Over the course of his training, he developed into a superb swordsman. He became so proficient in Caliburn that he was able to conjure up enough divine strength to vanquish a devil of the highest class. But he focused on more than just training during those 3 years. He stayed with Arturia, with whom he became close. They clearly loved one another, but they were too scared to acknowledge it or end their relationship. Rin Tasaka then tutored him to learn how to be a mage. Naruto learned a lot from the red-tailed twin-tailed girl. Her stern instruction truly penetrated his thick skull. She still struggled with more modern technology, such as the radio, which was widely used in both the East and the West. When someone attempted to call them, she ultimately destroyed it. They also became close friends. She then developed some feelings for him, but she found it difficult to confess because she was a tsundere. When Naruto approached her, she would always insult him and hit him. The two girls were aware that they both liked Naruto, and since he didn't want to harm any of them, he was unable to pick one. He loved them both too much to be content with a romantic relationship. As a result, they decided to share Naruto with any other girl who truly loves him as much as they do. Naruto's harem began at that point. Even though it was fantastic for him, he declared that nothing could ever replace Arturia as his first love. Rin knew that, of course, but it didn't make her any less of a tsundere. Merlin even made the decision to return. She has discovered another sinner. For the lion's sin of pride, she located Escanor. With his strange dual personality at night and during the day, it was a perfect fit. He was not given the sin of wrath to be captain, despite being the strongest person on the planet. Someone else was qualified for that role. She had to locate him. Despite looking for members, she discovered an unexpected person. She discovered a goddess. Lady Vivian, the Lady of the Lake. The Avalon ruler chose to support Naruto because she was aware of the story of his ascension to the throne. She commands Naruto to be brought to her by Merlin. Not just any holy sword, though, was given to Naruto by her. The Sword of Victory promised. The sword was created by the planet as a result of the crystallization of human desires that were tempered and stored there. The victory prayer from all races was transformed into a sword, which fairies brought to life. The sword was made especially for him and him alone. She also presented him with Avalon, Excalibur's scabbard. The best defense against anyone is provided by Avalon. Even, to some degree, against time. Avalon has the power to prolong one's youth. He told the girls about it. Additionally, there is the incredible healing effect that outperforms Jinshuriki's healing powers. He gave Arturia Caliburn after obtaining Excalibur. She was unable to accept it, but Naruto responded by giving her the power she would require and by claiming to be the first woman he had ever loved. She accepted Caliburn after listening to a heartfelt speech. Naruto was aware of Arturia's constant aspirations to become a noble knight and pull the sword in the stone. The sword she had desired since she was a young girl is now hers. She couldn't stop thanking Naruto, of course. Rin was more irate than ever the following morning, and Naruto didn't get any sleep during the night. He continued to use his Gate of Babylon even after he had mastered Excalibur. He became proficient with several weapons in his arsenal, including Enkidu, Ea, and Gaibolg. He would call forth the gate and shoot the weapons quickly to defeat his adversaries, even though he typically uses the gate as a projectile weapon. Rin discovers during his Gate of Babylon experiments that his circuit isn't connected to the dimension containing the treasury. He was the one who made the connection to the gate. Since this is the first proof in both the East and the West that a person, not a force, is responsible for allowing such a miracle to occur, it only made her wonder a lot about the once and future king. He created his own method to fend off any magical or physical assault. It was dubbed Banishing Shift by him. The ability known as Banishing Shift, which can repel or disperse any kind of attack, whether magical or physical, can only be used in response to an opponent's attack. Everything can be erased to zero dimension and to nothingness in its true form. Although it is the ideal defense against any strong attack, Naruto only employs it when absolutely required. He views that tactic as a last resort and prefers the challenge of the fight, or when he is too lethargic to handle an assault. He went to the world, dividing wall with his friends after completing his training. Arturia was wearing her armor, the same armor in Fate Stay Night. Rin was wearing her typical red turtleneck shirt, black skirt, and long black socks under brown leather flats, and Naruto was wearing a black armor that looked like a knight's. Berserker's armor from Fate Zero. Lancelot's armor. While it's still black, Kurama made the decision to spend the night inside Naruto. Despite her freedom, she still has elements of a kitsune and a magical creature. She is therefore incredibly lazy. Since Naruto is no longer the sewer prison for her, she spends the majority of her time there. It now functions more like a hotel. "So we are gonna go back to your old home?" Rin inquires. "Yup," said the blonde. Arturia asks, "Will they be able to recognize you? They're afraid they'll take him away if they see him." He shows her his knight helmet and says, "Not really. I have heterochromia eyes now and the whiskers are gone. I also have this helmet," causing Arturia some sadness. His whisker mark is still missed by her. When Naruto brought a puppy to the Tasaka family's estate one day, Arturia went completely girlish and spent the entire day playing with the dog. Rin didn't let it go. It was cute, Naruto thought. They both keep making fun of her for it. On the left side of Naruto's waist, a voice from Excalibur, I use the voice of a still manuscript, or more popularly, Sora from Trinity 7, said, "Don't worry master, no one can harm you with me here." Caliburn shouted from Arturia's side, "Me too. Even though I serve Lady Arturia now, I will always come to your aid." "Why are we heading to the other side by the way? I mean, it's weaker world compared to ours, according to your stories. Don't get me wrong. I want to see how different it is from here myself," replied Rin. He smiled sorrowfully and said, "I wanted to see some people before we start the war. It might be the last time I see them." Arturia comforts him by giving him a hug and saying, "Don't worry. We will survive the upcoming war. No matter what happens, we will get through it together." "Thank you." He gives her a hug in return. Rin exclaimed with some glee, Okay, it's time to go through the wall. I'm a little excited to see the other side." In order to open the doorway, Naruto placed his hand on the wall and directed Kurama's chakra into it. Then a door opened, resembling a spiral portal. To see Naruto's world, the group walks through. What immediately sprang to mind is, both girls uttered the words, "It's hot," ironically. "We are in a desert. Rin, don't you have something for this heat? Being in the armor is kinda cooking me alive here," Rin responded. She gives her friends a blue jewel and says, "I do have some jewels that will keep us cool in the heat." Naruto exclaimed, "Much better," with relief. Under the sun, it is not a good idea to wear full-fledged knight armor. He gestured toward the village and said, "First off, we head to the village hidden in the sand." It didn't take them long to arrive. To give him a quick ride there, Naruto calls Byako once more. The journey to the village only took a few hours. But when they got there, they saw a scene covered in blood. At the gate were some dead bodies and debris. They appear to have been attacked recently. Tamari was the only person waiting for a squad at the front gate. Wearing his helmet to conceal his identity, Naruto yelled at her, "What happened here?" Arturia and Rin simply remained in the background and let Naruto speak. "Halt. State your business." Tamari responds as she gets her fan ready. "Because of the current situation, I am unsure if they are friendly or not." "So you don't remember me?" He shook his head, only for Tamari to appear perplexed. As he starts to remove his helmet, he says, "I suppose wearing the armor is a good idea to hide who I am." "Naruto?" Tamari asked, unsure because of the red eye and missing whiskers, after noticing the blonde hair and one blue eye. Because of the nature of shinobi life, it was not unusual for a shinobi to receive an eye transplant. He said, "So you do remember me? I came here to see Gaara. So what happened?" She approached him and embraced him, saying, "Naruto, you are alive. We thought you died since no one could find you. Right now Gaara been kidnapped. Can you help us?" Concerned for his friend, Naruto exclaimed, "What? Where is he? Just tell me where he went and I will get him back." Naruto and his group followed him, saying, "Just follow me. Kankuro and I are about to go and rescue him." Naruto gained a lot of knowledge while en route to save Gaara. He discovered that the Akatsuki, a terrorist organization, are assembling the tailed beast for a plot. The plan began with Gaara. Naruto informed her that he had been living on the opposite side of the globe and over the wall. Rin and Arturia backed up his assertion, which she found hard to believe. Caliburn and Excalibur were also excellent at persuading unbelievers. Tamari was still in disbelief that Naruto was meant for something so significant. It was unthinkable to become king of the West. Tamari also informed him of the events that followed his exile. The Leaf Village also lost its treaties with the village hidden in the sand, the Land of Waves, the Land of Spring, formerly known as the Land of Snow, and the village hidden in the waterfall. Information about his unfair exile spread. The economy of the whole Land of Fire collapsed. The loss of treaties did not sit well with the Fire Daimyo. He threw a fit at the council and went to the Leaf. In the end, he reduced the yearly budget by 30%. Then he lifted Naruto Namikaze's banishment and ordered his return. Unfortunately, there was never a Naruto Namikaze. It was useless to provide a surname at this time because Naruto was never accepted by the Namikaze or Uzumaki, and Minato only referred to him as Naruto during the trial. Since Jiraiya was unable to locate Naruto using his spy network, it was determined that he had passed away. It was fortunate that he was wearing a helmet, which would prevent the Akatsuki and anyone else trustworthy from knowing he was still alive. However, saving Gaara is the current issue, and since they have already severed their ties with the Leaf, they cannot provide assistance. As they are now, anyway. The movement of the Akatsuki is more than known to the Leaf. They could have prepared for something since they were aware of Gaara's attack. Naruto exclaimed, "Bloody hell. It sucks to be a Leaf ninja now." Tamari put a question mark on her head and said, "Bloody hell?" Naruto answered, "Just a term used often in the West. It grew on me." "That explain your new accent. It completely different from anything I heard," Tamari replied. "I think it's cute," Arturia said. Rin said, "I call it going native." Naruto easily and swiftly adapts to life in the West. He enjoyed his time in the neighboring towns despite the severe restrictions on travel brought on by the ongoing conflict. Seeing kids having fun and playing rather than preparing for an impending war was quite refreshing. Prior to the establishment of the shinobi system, shinobi were engaged in an unending battle throughout their history. After it was established, the war got worse than it had ever been. The system's only positive aspect is the period of peace that followed the high death toll among shinobi, excluding civilians. It will take them around 10 years to replenish their numbers. "Lord Naruto, I sense the presence of another just like you," replied Caliburn. Naruto approaches a river with a big boulder in his path and says, "That has to be Gaara." Then all at once, "What are you doing here, Leaf Shinobi?" Tamari snarled upon seeing Naruto, Sasuke's replacement, Sai, along with Kakashi, Guys, Mito, Sakura, Neji, Lee, Tenten, and Sai. In an attempt to be amiable, Kakashi said, Ma. We are here to help." He fixed his gaze on the man wearing the metal armor. His lack of chakra prevents him from sensing who he is. The statement, "I'm more worried about your friend in the armor. He seems weak," infuriated Rin and Arturia as their boyfriend made fun of them. When Kankuro spoke to the girls, he bitched about something. It was widely held that shinobi were superior to samurai in every manner, but they deceived themselves by saying, "And who wear a full body armor? Only a samurai would wear one." A samurai could engage a chunin in a death battle because they take their training much more seriously. Rumor has it that a samurai survived Hanzo the Salamander after numerous strong shinobi were killed by him, with the exception of Konoha's Sanin, who was spared. No is not the time to debate about this. All you need to know is that we are allies with the Sand and came to their aid. You, however, shouldn't be here. The Akatsuki moved too fast for you guys to come for the rescue. So that means you planned this, Naruto said as he crossed his arms in his armor. Mito questioned, "Is it a problem that we are helping?" Even though she didn't agree with this strategy, she accepted it because, in her father's opinion, it was for Konoha. "Yes, it is. We don't trust the Leaf. You could be here to kidnap Gaara and hold him hostage or take his Biju away." Kankuro grinned at them. A couple flinching. Many believed that the Leaf would steal another person's tailed beast for a proper Jinshuriki because it was well known that Mito was incapable of controlling the Nine Tails chakra. In an attempt to soothe them, Guy remarked, "How youthful, we're here to help." Excalibur uttered the words, "Ah, master," using a talking sword to surprise the Leaf ninjas and increase Tenten's intrigue. The signal just died. "Gaara!" exclaimed Kankuro, Temari, and Naruto in terror. Arturia regained control of the situation by saying, "Enough, Rin and I will watch the Leaf ninja. Saber, you will go with the Sand ninja to get Gaara." Because of the order on Naruto, it was also decided that when they are not alone, he will go by Saber. Naruto being dragged back to the Leaf by force would be terrible. The three of them nodded. Naruto pulled Excalibur from Avalon and said, "Excalibur, get ready. We are busting up that rock and killing whoever is in there." The power emanating from Excalibur was palpable to all, increasing the intrigue of the Leaf shinobi. Then Naruto cut through the rock. Kakashi grinned smugly and said, "It won't work. Your sword can't cut through the seal that the Akatsuki placed." This attempt was met with laughter from a few Leaf shinobi, but they quickly stopped. As if it were nothing, Saber sliced the boulder in two, opening the door and letting everyone enter, causing the Leaf ninjas to be shocked by what they witnessed. The Leaf might benefit from such a sword. It can also speak. As he prepared to steal Excalibur, Kakashi thought, "It can give us a lot of information." Thinking that Naruto's armor makes him weak and that the girls are pointless, he assumed they were weak since they didn't release any chakra. He also thought, even a newborn child has more chakra than any of those three. As she sat on top of Gaara's body, Deidre said, well, look at this. The nine-tailed Jinchuriki finally arrived. Now. Naruto yelled, "Get the hell off him, you bastard," while holding onto Excalibur. Deidre teasingly said, "Who is gonna make me?" He turned his focus to the person in the armor. Then he noticed that behind Saber, numerous ripples of gold appeared. They emerged armed with spears, axes, swords, and other weapons. The Leaf ninjas intervened at that point, only to observe Saber's strength. Everyone except Rin and Arturia thought, "What the hell is that?" The only smile the two gave was a smug one. "Let me show you what happens when you hurt my friends." With amazing speed, Naruto hurled one of his weapons at them, causing Deidre to leap off. "What the hell is that?" exclaimed Deidre, startled. He noticed the large, deep hole behind him. Something a sword can never accomplish. "Ha ha ha. Time to show you the power of a king," Naruto exclaimed as he continued to shower the two members with projectiles. He destroyed Sasori's puppet and succeeded in forcing Deidre onto his bird. Pulling out another puppet, Sasori yelled angrily, "Damn you. King or not, I will make you pay for destroying that puppet." She nodded in response to the question, "Rin, can you save Gaara?" She obeyed Naruto's command. "Good, go revive him. It will be good to see an old friend again. Arturia, Kankuro, Temari, watch the Leaf ninjas and protect Rin. She revived me once before, she can save him from death. I will handle the Akatsuki members." The three give a nod. It was true that Rin had brought Naruto back to life. Escanor once killed Naruto, but she saved him by using one of her finest jewels. For times like this, she had another on hand. He discovered that day that you should treat Ikanor with the utmost respect. Mito yelled at Naruto, "What, are you crazy? You can't handle the Akatsuki by yourself," concerned about the alleged weakling. Naruto turned to face Mito and remarked, "Don't doubt my power, girl. I am a king, he is no match for me." Deidre yelled, "Like hell we are," as he charged Naruto. Deidara was annoyed by Naruto, but he was told to concentrate on the nine-tailed Jinshuriki. To see Saber's power, Kakashi gave his team the order to refrain from interfering. Kakashi needs to gather information about the self-proclaimed king because he has never witnessed anything like this before. In addition, he wanted Naruto dead so he could steal his sword for the leaf. A power sword like Excalibur would be helpful to his family, who were experiencing a power outage crisis. Naruto simply destroyed his bird and threw more projectiles at Deidara. The third cage was then called into battle by Sasori. But Naruto's weapons were too powerful for the Iron Sand to withstand. In the end, he destroyed the puppet of Cage. How dare you? That puppet was one of the rarest of have. Damn you. Don't think you beaten me yet. Sasori revealed himself as a puppet while Deidara prepared a clay dragon. The audience can observe in wonder. As Rin finished bringing Gaara back, she said, "Okay. I got a heartbeat. Gaara should be okay now. He will need rest. There is no injury left that I haven't fixed on him." "Thank you," Tamari exclaimed as he gave her a hug. As he checked on Gaara, Kankuro grinned at her and said, "Yeah. Thanks." The fact that he was breathing gave him relief. Rin shook her head in disapproval of Naruto's current display of power, saying, "Of course, I only did it for that idiot up there. I swear, he likes to show off." Sakura inquired, attempting to learn that she had used the resurrection jutsu to bring back a deceased person. Excuse me, Ms. Rin. Rin Tasaka are in your culture, Tasaka Rin. Ms. Tasaka. How did you bring him back? I checked. The Cage's heart stopped and he was dead. Sakura inquired. Incredibly fascinating because she is a medical professional. That isn't your concern. It's a technique that belongs to my family, she replied. That is impossible. There is no bloodline that can bring back the dead, replied Sakura. She had a lot of healing bloodlines and healing jutsu, but none that could revive the dead. Her master, Tsunade Senju, asserts that it is impossible to revive the dead by healing them. She tried to do so now. Rin flashed her twin-tail hair and remarked, I never said, bloodline, I said it's a family technique. Boom. The battle between Naruto and the Akatsuki pair resulted in a loud explosion. After finishing his use of the gate as a projectile, Naruto began fighting Enkidu and Excalibur. Sasori's flamethrower struck the clay dragon, not Naruto, after Naruto grabbed it with the chains of heaven, Enkidu, and brought it down in front of him. When his dragon was vanquished, Sasori leapt to his side and Deidara yelled, he's a tough son of a bitch. Sasori cried, I had enough of you. Dealing with the lone king made him impatient. Taking out a scroll, he called forth 100 puppets. Deidara had already given up. When the dragon crashed down, Naruto pulled his arm out of his body while wearing his chains. Naruto said, his voice full of conceit, do you think that an army is enough to stop this king? He was drawing Excalibur. He whispered to Excalibur, get ready. Excalibur simply glowed back. Sasori laughed and remarked, I destroyed entire villages with this jutsu. You won't have any problems. To save himself and to let the others know, Deidara had already left him. Deidara was astute enough to recognize his defeat. Naruto simply lifted his blade. Then, Naruto and Excalibur caught everyone's attention. It had a golden sheen to it. It had such a lovely sheen that nobody could help but stare. Like droplets, golden light began to spread throughout the room. After that, some people began to hear voices. Kakashi simply gazed at the blade. He was so beautiful, how could he not? Then a voice spoke to him. An older, maskless Kakashi emerged and said, son. He simply shook his head and smiled sadly at Kakashi. I'm disappointed in his actions. Kakashi was only able to release one tear. Guy then turned to face a man who resembled him but had a beard and a mustache. I'm proud of you, he said, giving his son a thumbs up. Guy began to weep for his youth. Neji's father appeared. The same father who gives his life to protect his brother. He merely gave him a smile, causing Neji to cry. Sasori was prepared to strike him in order to thwart the subsequent assault. The power alone is sufficient to win, but... He said, Mom. Dad. Upon seeing his parents were grinning at him, which made him appear very depressed. His father gave him a hug on the left side of his body and said, no matter what. His mother gave him a hug on the right side of his body and said, we will love you. Sasori began to cry, but he was blind and tearless. The spirits then all vanish. Mito stammered, what was that? And gestured to Excalibur, as well as the others, who also see those deceased individuals. While one could say there are many other swords crafted more splendidly and with better skill, This sword is an illusion far, far superior to them. You calling it beautiful would dirty its appearance. It is instead something sacred, forged from people's conceptions, legends weaved only out of hope. Arturia said with such empathy. She went on. It is a crystal trained by the alone of mankind, making it reign as the strongest fantasy. The crystallization of the prayer glory and all the things etched in the hearts of those who are scattered at the sword's exuberance. The nostalgic, the sorrowful, and hallowed dreams of those who found themselves on the bloody hell called a sword represents a desire of all warriors, past, present, and future whom have been fully exposed to the nightmares of the battlefield. And that desire, to be exalted. Arturia continued, of the two, the most knowledgeable about holy swords. Its name transcends all boundaries, time and space, cultures and languages, nations and borders, for its name is, concluded Arturia. X. Naruto yelled, brandishing his sword, getting ready to attack the army. After he got over seeing his parents, Sasori unleashed an attack with all of his puppets. Caliber. He released his sword, destroying every single puppet. Sasori is among them. Sasori simply welcomed the golden light that was here to take his life with a smile. I'm coming, Mom. Dad, he thought, smiling. Naruto noticed that and grinned. The ever-distant utopia is Avalon, the afterlife. If that is incorrect, I don't care. That's what Naruto believes in. Naruto spoke quickly enough for Sasori to hear him say, find peace and happiness in the ever-distant utopia. Naruto is good enough to pray for his enemy to rest in peace, even when it is against someone he dislikes. At last, Sasori acknowledged him as a king and said, thank you, my king. Being obliterated by his assault. Naruto smiled broadly. The mountainside they were in had a huge hole in it from the blast. Naruto went to see how Gaara was doing. Rin moved in front of Kakashi as he approached him. Kakashi asked, would you like to join the Hidden Leaf Village? Attempting to place a powerful individual under the leaf's control. When they widened their eyes to hear her devotion to her family, Rin grinned and said, huh? You think I would abandon my family? I know all about your reputation and it's not noble at all. We are a family. We never abandon our own. Naruto and Arturia's family. As he pulled out his kunai, Kakashi remarked, I asked kindly, but it seems that you left me no choice. The other Konoha shinobi did the same. Temari and Kankuro prepared for combat. Naruto was picking up Gaara and wasn't listening. But Arturia was ahead of the game already. With Caliburn poised to cut Mito's throat, Arturia remarked, if I were you, I wouldn't do that. She was aware of the Hokage's daughter's high value at the bounty station. Naruto informed the girls that rather than functioning as a real government, the shinobi system operated more like a mercenary guild. Kakashi and Neji thought, I didn't sense her. The squad's best sensors failed to spot a girl who had positioned herself behind them with the intention of killing them. I'll say it once. Back off or you will be at war with us. The Leaf sent 2 squad to fight 2 members of the Akatsuki and we only need 1 person to fight the pair of criminals. Do you really think that you stand a chance? She inquired to the group. After allowing it time to consider their circumstances, Kakashi commanded, everyone, we are going back to the Leaf. Catching his team off guard. They were aware of the mission's significance to their community. What? We can't leave yet. The Akatsukis are a threat. We can take them here and now. Plus those strange people have incredible powers. If we... Mito screamed before being separated from him. She realized that the village's needs came before her own desires and morals. Do that and you will be starting war with the sand. They are our allies and promised to help us in our need. We won't abandon them. Temari yelled at her, thinking that supporting Naruto would ultimately be beneficial. As the last of the Leaf ninjas departed, Kakashi commanded, we can't start a war over a few people, fall back. With the sand group in an open field, What is that? Gaara pondered as he experienced some discomfort. I thought I died. He is still in pain, as if someone kicked him. He heard a voice say, Oi, wake. You're making your friend and family worry, Sleeping Beauty. Gaara's eyes starts to open, only to spot a man wearing a black armor suit. After being abducted by the Akatsuki, Gaara asks a stranger, Who are you? Gaara. Temari rushed to embrace her younger brother. Surprised, he said, Temari, what happened? The armored man said, I saved you. He pointed to Rin and said, well, more like she saved you. May, I know the name of the person that rescued me? The redhead gave me a perplexed look when I said, I didn't expect you to remember me after all this time. Of course the armor doesn't help. He took off his helmet and said, You can call me Saber when I'm wearing the helmet. But Gaara only noticed reddish blue eyes and blonde hair. You can call me Naruto. Gaara's eyes widened. When Gaara saw his first friend in 3 years, he stammered, I thought you died. With his signature smile, he offered to get up and said, let's keep it that way. I don't need any attention on me now. Reaching up to grab it, I said, you have always been the unpredictable one, my old friend. 3 days later, in the Hidden Leaf Village, the Hokage Tower. Minato, Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Kushina are waiting for Team Kakashi and Team Guy in the Hokage's office. Jiraiya obtained information about Gaara, the Akatsuki's initial target. In addition to rescuing the Cage, Minato intended to have the village sign an alliance that would benefit only the leaf and sell the precious metals that are only found in the land of wind to the sand at a price of their choosing. Because they lacked the authority they once possessed, the leaf's economy was struggling. To restore the leaf to the top of the shinobi world, they required resources and influence. Report Kakashi, Minato instructed, frowning. It did not sit well with him to see the Cage in with them. A tried Kakashi said, you are not going to like this, sensei. Okay. Everyone but Kakashi, Guy, and Mito are dismissed. One justification later. So, this Saber managed to fight 2 of the most destructive ninja capable of jutsus to level battalions by themselves and managed to kill one and cripple the other. Receiving a nod from Kakashi. Also, he has this odd ability that forms gold ripples out of thin air and weapons of incredible power shot out of it to fight the 2? He added. Then, he has a friend that is capable of bringing back the dead without Orochimaru's resurrection jutsu and another person capable of sneaking behind and in a position ready to kill Mito. Another nod and an embarrassed expression from Mito. She allowed someone who was in their line of sight, a dead body moving, to be killed because she was a proud shinobi of the leaf. Being the best was part of her training. After learning that she loses her mind whenever she uses even a small portion of the Kyuubi's chakra. It was just not possible, no matter how many seals she had or how well she trained. Jiraiya hypothesized that in order to exert any kind of control over the chakra, they required the Kyuubi's soul. The chakra is unadulterated power that only knows how to cause destruction in the absence of the soul. Then Minato, Kushina, Tsunade, and Jiraiya became intrigued after learning about a sword that could call forth ghosts. Minato made the decision to store it in his memory. Like the others, he wanted to see the people he had lost. They all desire a sword that can perform those actions. Lastly, he and the 2 girls that shown amazing power didn't show any signs of a large chakra reserve. No chakra at all. I used my Sharingan and saw no chakra or even a chakra coil. Neji saw nothing at all. It was as if they weren't there at all. Feeling ashamed. Despite being among the best the leaf has to offer, he was unable to determine the power level of 3 individuals. When Tsunade said, that's impossible. You need chakra to be alive, knowledgeable about the shinobi body's anatomy. He rubs his head and says, he asked the 3, do you know anything about them? The sword of the girl and that guy, Saber, can talk. Just by seeing one of the sword's power, we can assume the other one holds great power, replied Kakashi. With his typical demeanor, Guy stated, they're allied with Sand. They seem to be a mercenary group by looking at how youthful they are with each other. It appears that the 3 have been working together for a while. He assumed that they were a group vying for a paycheck because he didn't see a headband. After some time to reflect, the statement, which surprised Guy, Mito, and Kakashi, was, I can't allow these people to walk around freely. I will declare them as missing ninjas and put him in the bingo book. Tsunade and Jiraiya appear to have anticipated this since they are aware of the power dynamics and these 3 threaten them. Kushina simply gave her husband a nod of agreement. Dad. You can't do that. That's against the international law, Mito yelled. She was more shocked by her own father's behavior. Guy objected to the idea, saying, Sir, you can't do that. They aren't part of the leaf or any village. Plus, they haven't done anything wrong. Only if a ninja is a member of the village they betrayed can they be marked as missing. Additionally, Minato was prepared to lie about the fact that they had committed no crimes. It doesn't matter. Mito, they have power that we need. This is all for Konoha. I don't want their power anywhere, but here in the village. I will say that they were part of the leaf before and stole those 2 swords. They will get a capture order. Minato stated to them. Mito agreed with his response. That demonstrates the lengths a shinobi, young or old, would go to defend their village. It was unusual to witness such a mindless acceptance because they had been raised to sacrifice everything for their village since birth. Sensei, I think it won't work. The majority of the elemental nation are already on bad terms with us. They won't believe what we put in the bingo book. They will just ignore the order and take to them for themselves," replied Kakashi. He is already aware of the main weakness in his strategy to apprehend some formidable ninjas. "It doesn't matter. I will declare war on any nations that tries to take them from us. They have incredible power, so that makes them part of the Hidden Leaf." Minato replied without pause. He came to believe that power belongs to the leaf after a few years of being Hokage. All power belongs to the last Uzumaki, last Senju, last Uchiha, and the fabled Sannin, since they are all a part of the Hidden Leaf. Power made him blind. He only realized that he should have control over all forms of power. Guy also thought, "I fear that if Sensei doesn't change, we are going to go to war soon." The only individual close to the Hokage who began to recognize the village's mistake. In the Cage's tower, in the Sand Village. This is a lot to take in. I believe Gaara was taken to the Land of Rivers, and we were returning to the village. Naruto explained his situation to Gaara. He crossed the wall. What was over the wall is the most enigmatic thing to the people of the Elemental Nation. Many ninjas have attempted to scale the wall in the past, but they were never able to do so. The wall started to collapse whenever they constructed anything near it. Structures composed of metal or stone began to disintegrate. Naturally, the issue was the same on the opposing side. It was the wall responding to nearby people, to prevent them from reaching the opposite side. Hearing Naruto cross the wall and investigate Western life, to learn that, in comparison to Western power, chakra is a weak form of power. It is shocking to learn that humans are superior to nearly every race, including those in the end. Particularly considering that only roughly 40% of people on Earth were capable of using chi or magic. Remember, the majority of people in the West were not humans. He is extremely frightened at the mere prospect of an invasion by the races in the West. One of the nations that borders the East and West is where he lives. When Gaara eventually assimilated Naruto's new life, she exclaimed, "Thank God for the wall. As much as I want to help you and give you the full support of my village, I can't. We'll simply be wiped out in the first battle." He groaned. He wished to assist his friend in realizing his dream of becoming king, but given the strength of the West, such a choice cannot be made carelessly. Now that he is Cage, he must consider the village first. "Don't worry about it. I never intended to ask for help. I just wanted to see all you guys before I go off." Reassuring Gaara. "All I ask is that you keep my identity a secret till I reveal myself." Receiving a nod of approval, he smiled grimly and said, "I just hope I get the chance to reveal myself in the future." To get him to stop questioning his abilities, Rin said, "Baka, you won't die. If you die, I can just bring you back like I did before." "Still, I want to thank you for all your help in reviving me," Gaara replied. While scratching his head, Naruto remarked, "Well, there is one thing." The growl from Naruto's and Arturia's stomachs, Krugergergergig, attracted everyone's attention. Kurama was laughing at the two, and Rin just gave them a face palm. Arturia put her hands on her ravenous stomach and said passively, "Hunger is an enemy that everyone must defeat." He asks them, "Ya, can we get some food?" Gaara grinned, Tamari laughed, and Kankuro laughed at them. As he rose from his seat to take everyone out to dinner, Gaara said, "Of course." In the land of Waterfall, 4 months later, they went to visit other people after Naruto's group time in the sand. When he becomes king, Gaara said he will wait for the wall to fall and embrace the prospect of forming an alliance with Naruto. To visit Tazuna and Inari, Naruto traveled to the land of waves. The blonde fool's happiness and survival pleased them. He then visited Koyuki in the land of snow. He had fresh bruises when he left the country. After learning about his future plans, Koyuki apparently made the decision to kiss him deeply and passionately. She said, "I will wait," and walked away after kissing him. Her message left Naruto perplexed, and his thick-headedness infuriated Rin and Arturia. Later, Kurama made the decision to inform the group about Morio, one of the last demons in the East. He desired to give him the opportunity to go back to the West. Since demons have long lives and appear to be immortal, Morio was probably still alive and the shinobi were helpless against him. The group volunteered to guard their priestess, Shien, and traveled to the land of demons. Naruto and Shien didn't get along well because Shien was a brat. The person who would keep an eye on her was Arturia. Naruto took Shien to seal Morio after Arturia and Rin battled the army on their way to the temple. Naturally, Naruto intervened to give Morio the opportunity to return home. He turned down his offer and launched an eastward assault. He chose to target his people because he was consumed by hate and wanted to exact revenge on the sage, but he passed away before he could do so. Shien became hopeless and was ready to die while sealing Morio. But Naruto put up a fierce fight with Excalibur, and they defeated Morio by fusing his sword with Shien's magical bell. Naruto granted Shien's request to pass on her power, after she fell in love with him. Rin knew that Naruto didn't grasp Shien's true meaning, so she gave him another beating. Additionally, when he chose to train in a more remote location, he once ran into two women. Two women watch him as he practices his magic and swordsmanship. They see that he was extremely powerful. They approached him and introduced themselves. They were Takiwa and Shizuka. They were searching for strong men to oppose and bring back to Shizuka's homeland. Shizuka's defeat came as no surprise. It was scary to watch Naruto train. He surrounded himself with the Gate of Babylon and attacked him with numerous noble phantasms. Because the power belonged to a noble king and could be found in the dreams of the powerful, he generally called his weapon in the gate, Noble Phantasm. They would be deflected or destroyed by Naruto using his Excalibur or one of the legendary weapons in the gate. This was to increase his speed, strength, and reaction time. Shizuka gladly accepted Naruto as her new husband and didn't feel guilty about losing to him. The issue was that he wasn't prepared. After they vowed not to tell anyone, he shared his story with them. To their surprise, they discovered that he was the Hokage's former son, even more taken aback upon discovering the enigmatic West. At first, they were dubious, but Naruto's expressions convinced them that he was telling the truth. She would wait for him, she said. At that point, he finally realized what Koyuki had been referring to. With pleasure, he consented, forgetting to share the news with the others. For him, the reunion was going to be interesting. The village hidden in the star is something we must not overlook. Their leader's practice of putting the upcoming generation of star shinobi through risky training caused them problems. They were spared when Naruto and his companions appeared. Oh, and he killed the beast with 0 tails. Naruto handled the Land of the Sky's problems when they arose. He also assisted Amaru. The new daimyo from the Land of Vegetables, Haruna, is also included. Furthermore, the group encountered some difficulties. They were attacked by leaf hunter ninjas during their journey. At all costs, they planned to capture them. They ended up in the Leaf's bingo book while they were in snow. That infuriated them. To learn that in order to get them into the book, they made up a lot of lies. They let the Leaf retreat when they first collided with them. They returned to the Leaf in Body's bag for the remainder of the time. Why not commit some crimes in the Land of Fire since they were already considered criminals by the Leaf? The complaints from all the nobles in his country annoyed the Fire Daimyo. He was receiving reports of 3 individuals committing multiple crimes in his territory. Naturally, the daimyo discovered that Minato was once again engaging in his old habits, but this time he was powerless to stop him. Theft, vandalism, and killing leaf ninjas, and additional and incidents were among the crimes they committed. Knowing the truth and the injustice committed by Minato, he simply let the leaf ninja hunt and kept his men out of this situation. By the time they arrive at the Land of Waterfalls, a small number of Junins, Shunins, and Genins have perished, along with 3/4 of their hunter ninjas and 1/4 of their Anbu. Minato thought the village wouldn't have to worry about power once he had them. He thought that the Rin's ability to resurrect the dead was sufficient to bring back their finest qualities. How mistaken he was. The major villages' ranking changed significantly. By forming alliances with nations Naruto aided, the Sand started to gain strength. With Kisame as the exception, Mist was able to fill in all 7 swordsmen of the Mist after ending their civil war. Mangetsu, who is still alive in my story, took his place as a swordsman who could wield any kind of weapon. They were strengthened by the group alone. From top to bottom, the new order is Cloud, Stone, Sand, Mist, and lastly, Leaf. They lost too many people attempting to apprehend our 3 heroes, and they lost too much reputation to land any decent jobs. Jiraiya began giving the village his money from Icha because it was in such terrible shape. The Uzumaki's wealth also declined sharply. To keep the village afloat, Kushina used all of the money from the former Uzumaki clan village. Our group of heroes is now located in Waterfall Country. Arturia asks, "So this is our last stop?" Naruto answered, "Yeah. I want to say goodbye to Shibuki. He is a good man." Rin asks, "How far is it? I'm exhausted from all the walking already." "Not that far. Just an hour more of walking." Boom. Arturia drew Caliburn and asked, "What was that?" As he put on his helmet in anticipation of a potential battle, Naruto remarked, "I don't know, but we should check it out." Naru. Chan, we have to hurry. I feel Chome close by. Yelled Kurama. Because of the recent Akatsuki attack, she was worried about her younger sibling. The team discovers that Shukaku is the only person they have taken prisoner. The other countries have protected their Jinshuriki from them ever since word spread that Gaara had been captured, and the three heroes were able to halt the attacks. Naruto was close by and rescued Yugito when she was targeted. Hidan and Kakuzu were able to avoid Naruto's fury. Naruto accelerated his pace and exclaimed, "Damn it! I think the Akatsuki is going for the Jinchuriki of the Seven Tails." They hid in the trees close to a fight between a tan-skinned girl with green mint hair and the Akatsuki zombie duo. The girl appears to have been prepared to surrender to her captivity based on her appearance. "Give up, Jinchuriki. You won't be escaping us this time," Kakuzu replied, observing that the girl is near death. Hidan yelled, "Come on, keep fighting, so I can sacrifice you to Jashin-sama, the insane priest." As Fu starts to accept her fate of being captured by them, she thinks, "I can't keep this up." When a man's voice said, "I don't think so," the three turned to listen. Both members of Akatsuki yelled, "You," as they recognized the man who had prevented them from apprehending the two-tailed Jinchuriki and almost killed them. "Who are you?" Fu asked, her voice a little worried. "A king," said the man in the armor. Then her eyes grew wide. Directly behind him, the man conjures up a dozen golden ripples, causing her to be amazed and the Akatsuki to stare in terror. "So will we fight Akatsuki or will you run away like last time?" he asked. The fact that this man was able to force these two monsters to flee surprised Fu. "Damn. We're unable to absorb it. He can only be defeated by leader Sama," as he recalled the previous conflict and Pain's directive to deal with him, Kakuzu thought. "Even though you killed the puppet, you can't kill us," Hidan yelled as he charged at the adversary. But he stopped. Kakuzu restrained his partner by sending his treads. "Stop, Hidan. We will die if we face him. We need to retreat and tell leader Sama we failed." "Damn it," he exclaimed as he began to back off. Returning to village hidden in the rain, the two members took refuge. Rin hurried to Fu to tend to her. As she bowed deeply to the man who had saved her, Fu said, "Thank you so much, sir." "It's no problem. You are a ninja of Waterfall. Shibuki wouldn't be happy to see any of his people captured." "You know Shibuki?" He smiled and said, "Yeah, we are old friends, but no one could see it because of his helmet." "We should go to the village. It's still dangerous out here," Rin replied. "I agree. The Akatsuki could still attack or the Leaf may send another team due to us being close to their country," Arturia responded. Fu is shocked to learn that the Leaf is pursuing her hero. "Oh, I should at least get the name of my heroes. I'm Rin Tasaka. I'm Arturia Britain." Obtaining a joyful nod from her. "I will tell you once we get to Shibuki. I need to hide my identity." The village hidden in the waterfall is the destination for the four of them. Shibuki took the group into his office after they arrived in the village. He started to worry about Fu and his village after learning about the Akatsuki's attack. Then everything changed when the armored man removed his helmet. It opened their minds to learn about their hero's story. With a kneeling bow, Shibuki said, "Naruto, please take Fu with you." Exclaimed Fu and Naruto. The thought of going with Naruto made Fu flush. After he rescued her village from Suin, the traitor, she began to idolize him. After he saves her from certain death, she then develops a crush on him. "Are you sure? I'm going to a place where Jinchuriki are weak compared to others," he replied. "Yes. The Akatsuki is a threat that I can't handle. Fu got lucky due to you visiting me. I fear she won't survive another attack and we won't be strong enough to handle them." As he started to get up, Shibuki smiles and says, "Plus I know you will protect her." Naruto smiles back. Naruto turned to face Fu. "Fu, do you want to go west with me? To go into war with people far stronger than anything in the east? To face certain death with little chance for survival?" he replied with a smirk. She smiled and said, "Of course, I will be safer with you, Naruto-sama. By the way, call me just Naruto." She grinned even wider. "Hi, Naruto." The two start to leave together while exchanging words. Rin asks Arturia wearily, "Why is it that every girl he meets falls in love with the idiot?" Arturia joyfully remarked, "He's Naruto. We can't stop that." She didn't mind all the attention Naruto was receiving. He continues to give her more attention than Rin does, something she intends to alter. Now that Fu has joined the group, we have a new member. Following her encounter with the Akatsuki, Shibuki gave her the opportunity to accompany her hero to a brand new, unfamiliar world. Following a heartfelt farewell, Shibuki and Fu made their way to the village hidden in the sand. Sand Village, Fu grumbled. Damn, the sun is going to kill me. She charged her new pals. How can you three stand the heat? Naruto asked, didn't Rin tell you about it? She squinted at him and said, tell me what? Rin took a step forward and focused on her. She grinned broadly and said, I have a spell that can keep you cool in the hottest temperature. Fu's mouth fell open in shock. An irate Fu yelled, You, how come you didn't give it to me? Well, you need some kind of welcome gift. I figured the appreciation for my genius talents would be a good gift, she said with an air of arrogance. It would have been better if you did cast that spell on me. Rin chose to disregard her and proceed to the gate of the village. Fu yelled at her and ran after her, saying, Why you, get back here, requesting that she calm down. Naruto remarked, I think those two will be good friends. Arturia smiled, not unless Fu kills her first, they do have a unique dynamic. Time skip. Naruto and Gaara devised a strategy to deal with the box of unlimited bliss there in the village hidden in the sand. Naruto was captured and taken to the blood prison after attempting to kill Gaara, according to their theory. Naruto was attempting to kill Gaara in order to undermine the sand village while posing as Tatsumi. Naruto pleaded that he was accepting a Leaf Village job offer. Although they denied it, their reputation seemed to indicate otherwise. To be honest, it was part of Minato's strategy to weaken the others and gain control of the Leaf. He couldn't say that, of course, and there wasn't any concrete evidence. He was sent to Hizuka Castle, so all 5 cages attended the trial, which took place in the Land of Irons. A prison that requires everyone's approval. With the exception of Gaara, Naruto only stated that the Leaf hired him because he had sowed the seeds of suspicion about the Leaf. When he learned that they intended to rescue him from the Akatsuki, he began to have his doubts. Later, he was sent to be punished. In order to attract the offender, Kurama managed to make it appear as though Tatsumi was on par with a cage while he still had his chakra coils. Naruto entered the prison to carry out his duties. Mui, the prison's leader, confronted him and captured him to serve as an offering for the box. But he managed to get away from Mui and his men. Since Naruto didn't use chakra to get away, the fire release, Heavenly Seal, didn't work on him. He just used one of his noble phantasms to battle his opponent, but he wasn't hit before he got away. He fled and took refuge in a cave close to the jail. He slept there for a while before being confronted by another prisoner. Ryuzetsu was the prisoner in question. She entered to heal him and discuss why she was there. They decided to cooperate in order to eliminate Mui and demolish the box of unlimited bliss since they got along well. They had to locate the box, which was the issue. They agreed to hold off until Mui initiated contact. After growing weary of looking for Naruto, Mui made the decision to gather the chakra of the other inmates for the box. After much waiting, Mui finally saw his long-awaited son, Muku. In order to finally get out of the box, Muku, who was actually Satori, the demon inside, was donning his skin. Muku was about to impale Mui when Naruto and Ryuzetsu entered, and Naruto used Enkidu, the chains of heaven, to restrain Muku and save Mui. In order to fight Naruto, who was the only one who could defeat him, Muku changed into Satori's actual form. After calling forth Durandal, Naruto engaged Satori in a bloody duel. In the crossover, guards and prisoners were dying while Naruto struggled to defeat Satori. When Naruto could take it no more, he called forth Aya, killed the demon, and rescued the others. Mui expressed gratitude to Ryuzetsu and Naruto for saving him and putting an end to the box of unlimited bliss's nightmare. Because he understood why the two were in prison in the first place, he permitted them to leave. Ryuzetsu was now without a place to go. She followed Naruto because she didn't want to return to the village hidden in the grass. The two decided that a fresh start on the other side of the wall would be a better option because they were close during their time in the blood prison. Something that would later cause him and his friends to suffer headaches. Once Ryuzetsu has been introduced to the group, they depart westward. West to Sokka's manor. When Fu and Ryuzetsu visited Rin's house, which they use as a base, they were shocked to discover that they were in the west. They witnessed many deaths. To demonstrate the violence of the west, Naruto and the girls took them through multiple combat zones. They had to battle some of the other races who wanted to murder the group after seeing a lot of dead bodies. Naturally, they were taken aback by the other race's strength. The girls were abused by the ghouls, who were much stronger than them. The devil and demons truly frightened them. They were vicious, almost killing Fu. She would have died if Chome, Nanabi, hadn't come to her rescue. The humans finally unwinded in the Tasaka's manor after arriving at Camelot, their safe haven. Fu smiled sheepishly and said, "Some part of me regret coming along." Ryuzetsu ate some fish and chips that Rin had prepared for the group and remarked, "Even so, the West is really interesting. The culture is very different and the food is pretty good. Something that is delicious, according to all the Eastern ninjas." When the girls tried it, they nodded in agreement. Rin smiled and said, "Thanks, happy to know that you like our cuisine." For the next few hours, everyone in the group ate and relished their stay at the manor. Rin rarely prepares a lot of food, especially in Arturia. She would consume as much food as she could. With a serious tone, Arturia remarked, "Now that the celebration is over, we need to talk about what we're going to do next." "True. We finish your little vacation and now we are back in West. What is next, Naruto?" Rin inquires, causing everyone to seek direction from the once and future king. The next step is getting more power. Even with all the weapons that I could summon, we need more to fight every race. I'm thinking of something crazy." "How crazy?" inquired Rin. She was aware of that look and feared it. "I plan on taking the power of the heavenly dragon." Rin and Arturia yelled, "What?" catching the other girls who are unaware of the legend off guard. Rin yelled, "That is stupid, even for you." Arturia's voice was worried as she said, "Agreed. At least wait for Lady Merlin to return before facing them." Fu raised her hand and said, Excuse me, would you guys explain what is a heavenly dragon?" The heavenly dragon are two dragons that holds power that nobody can face. In the past, the demon race challenged against one of the two and lost their demon lord. They later went into hiding to build up their force. That was when the devils came up and took their spot as one of the powerful faction in the West. The demons are still more powerful than the devils, but they are low in numbers. Back to the dragons. Legend foretold that they were sent to be the one to aid the once and future king. Rin stated in lecture mode. Ryuzetsu, perplexed by the situation, questioned, "So why is it a stupid idea for Naruto to face them? He is the once and future king." "The problem, Ryu, is that I wasn't born when they were sent to the West. They waited and many people hunted them down like the Biju at home, so they fought back and started to ignore their duty. They would test me or just kill me. Seeing as no one is capable of taking them down, we believe that they will kill me." Naruto responded by referring to Ryuzetsu by. Ryu said, "Oh." He got up and remarked, "Even so, it was the right decision. It's time for me to confront them. We are eager for Merlin to return. I'm doing this alone. No buts. This is my destiny and it's time I face it." Since neither she nor the others had heard the entire legend, Ryu questioned, "What is your destiny then, Naruto?" "It an old legend that existed way before the wall came up. It became a fairy tale that many parents told their kids in hope to give them hope for a warless future. It says, a child capable of pulling the golden sword of Victorious from the stone will be bestowed power capable of saving the world or destroying the world." Arturia responded because she has always enjoyed the tale. Fu simply paid close attention and was reminded of something. She continued the story by saying, "This reminds me of Shibuki's child of prophecy was the subject of the story. He had a summons that would constantly discuss it. Interesting story. Came out of nowhere in a feminine voice. Unexpected Ryu and Fu. The voice and her antics were already familiar to the other three. As he continued to sip his tea, Naruto said, "Calm down everyone. It's Merlin." Then Merlin emerged from the darkness and revealed herself. "You need to stop doing that. Coming out of nowhere without me sensing you is scary." Excalibur replied. She dislikes surprises that could endanger her master. "Come on. I thought it was funny," Kurama exclaimed, carrying a bag of chips out of the kitchen. Merlin smiled and said, "Nice to see someone on my side." The pair nodded as she said, "Now, I'm Merlin. You should already know me." "Good, now Fu, that story isn't really surprising. After talking with Lord Byako himself, I learned that all elders of each of the summon race once heard of our legend about the sword in the stone. Even the White Tiger Elder had a similar memory of our story, but only remember parts of the legend. This summon elder must have remembered parts of our legend and pass it on as a prophecy. A prophecy that was incomplete on his side and only works in the West. Our world is the one in constant war, not yours. Yar, you ninjas are really selfish. How come did the summon elder pass it as a prophecy? He said he saw it in a vision, F inquired. You just said it. He is a elder. An elder with memory problem like all other elders of all race. Merlin made the point, proving to Fu that she was correct. The elderly in memory. Impaired elders of all summonses were notorious. Given that the elder of the Toad summons was the reason the Namikaze family only cared about Mito, it would have been possible to prevent Naruto's suffering in retrospect if they had admitted that he was merely an elderly, forgetful toad. Merlin looked gravely at Naruto and said, "Well, with that out of the way, Naruto." She smiled and said, "You were right." Exclaimed every girl present, leaving Kurama laughing and Naruto stunned. "I said he is right. It is time that he face those two. Albion is more loyal, so he may come quietly if you show him Caliburn, but Diedrich will ask for a fight. You will need to prepare for that." Merlin's words were serious. Timeskip. Naruto requested Caliburn's return so he could use it against the celestial pair. Arturia kissed him and gave it back to him. In addition, Rin kissed him and threatened to murder him if he died. Naruto was forced to return by Ryu and Fu. After that, Naruto leaves for Mount Heaven, the mountain range where the celestial pair reside and engage in combat. It bore their names. After that, Naruto leaves for Mount Heaven. Naruto exclaimed, "Man," as he gazed longingly at the mountain's utter devastation. "Grr. Who goes there?" a raised voice said with great force, displaying two enormous dragons, one white and one red. The red one yelled, "Who dares enter our home? Dislikes trespassers. Look, Albion, a human came to challenge us." At this, Diedrich and Albion both chuckle. "I haven't seen any human come here before. This will be the first, Diedrich." Naruto yelled, "Hey, don't look down on me." He dislikes that he is constantly looked down upon. Diedrich said, "Make me human." This only makes Naruto smile. Caliburn's light shone brightly in front of the two as he pulled her out. Impossible!" exclaimed Diedrich. Albion exclaimed, "Finally!" with delight. "Our master is finally here." "That's right. I am the once and future king. I come here to ask for your help to unite the land." Albion expressed his respect by saying, "I'm honored to help." Of the two, he was the more deferential one. "Not me. You need to beat me if you want my help." "What are you doing, Diedrich? He is the one that we were born to help. Will you deny our birthright?" asks Albion. "Damn right. He needs to prove that he is worthy of my power." Albion yelled, "How dare you," but was cut off. "I will fight. But." Albion opened his mouth to object. "No buts. All my life, I never asked for anything. Everything I have, besides Caliburn and some other things, I work hard to get. I won't let this stop me. If you want to fight, then I will give you one." Naruto yelled while drawing Excalibur as well. As he got ready to fight, Excalibur and Caliburn uttered the words, "We are with you, Master, my king." Albion looked at him more respectfully and made the decision to leave the battlefield after he said, "Albion, I like that you show respect for me, but I have to do this. It's not about power, it's about proving my worth. You earn a little respect, human. I hope you are ready. Mother, God is a female and created the heavenly dragons, so their mother promised me that her chosen king will be strong." Naruto yelled, "Bring it," along with Caliburn and Excalibur. While the vanishing dragon sat back and watched, Naruto charged at the Welsh dragon. Naruto begins slashing at Diedrich's scales, but his attempts are unsuccessful. Gosh, that scale is hard. After a strong fire attack, he changed tactics and leapt back. He sent a dozen noble phantasm to Diedrich after calling them from the gate of Babylon. Albion grinned and remarked, "So you know about the gate, interesting. Do you think that those puny weapons is enough to break my scales?" Diedrich yelled. "Master, a weak spot is visible," Excalibur alerts her master. "There is a vulnerability. It is located at the base of the tail," Caliburn continued. "That will not be simple." Naruto continued to slash Diedrich's stomach with his twin holy swords, only to discover that he was beginning to emit a strong glow. Naruto instantly leaps back to watch his next move. Diedrich hurled a pure green beam of energy at him, shouting, "Take this, Longinus Smasher. I wonder if you can survive this," destroying all that stood in his way. "I'm not very good at names." Damn it. The closer it came, the more he thought. He gathered prana into Caliburn and stuck Excalibur to the ground. He yelled, "Banishing Shift," as he swung Caliburn at Longinus Smasher, sending the attack into the dimension of zero. The two dragons were taken by surprise. He taunted, "Ha! How do you like that?" Albion thought that was an interesting move. Diedrich was furious that one of his strongest attacks had been so easily thwarted. What the hell was that? That wasn't the gate of Babylon, and sure as hell it wasn't one of Caliburn's attack, he commanded. The red dragon gave me a perplexed look when I said, "Oh, That was the gate in a way though. The gob is just dimension magic. I experimented with the gob and tap into other dimensions. Banishing Shift is a counter spell that dispel any and all form of attack by sending it to zero dimension. The dimension where everything becomes nothing, he replied with a grin. Why you? Diedrich slapped him with his claw. After that, he grinned that he had him until poof. Letting Naruto poof and letting Caliburn fall to the ground. Diedrich yelled in confusion and rage, what, considering how he is able to do that? I didn't know it was a new Western ninja technique. Although ninjutsu isn't as strong as magic, it still has its uses. From behind Diedrich, Naruto uttered, that was my shadow clone jutsu. I will explain later. Due to the clone distraction, Diedrich was unaware of the amount of prana coming from behind him. The original Naruto stealthily picked up Excalibur and moved behind Diedrich. Excalibur was raised behind Naruto, who was accumulating strength for her final blow. Excalibur! Exclaimed Naruto as he swung down with Excalibur, aiming for the base of the tail, giving Diedrich a lot of damage, when the light went out. I haven't suffered this much damage since my altercation with Albion a few years ago. Diedrich laughed. When Diedrich launched that attack, Naruto could only stare in shock and sustain minor injuries. Diedrich grinned broadly and exclaimed, human? No. King? I accept you as the one mother sent us to help. Yada. I did it, Naruto exclaimed, leaping with delight. Time skip. Manner of Tasaka. As she watched TV while lying on the couch, Ryu said, I hope he is alright. She and Fu were taken aback by the idea that magic could be used to develop technology for life rather than death. In addition to Naruto's favorite motorcycle, kitchen appliances, and medical equipment, the West also has some low-tech automobiles. Naturally, it's low-tech, but it's more sophisticated than the one ninjas encounter in the land of snow. Rin said, of course that idiot is alright. Fu asked Rin about all the technology in the house and said, hey Rin, I still don't get why you don't like all these cool stuff. I just don't like it. It's confusing. I'm a magus and tradition is everything. I was raised to do things the old-fashioned way. Arturia and Naruto brought in the technology. She responded. Technology really didn't appeal to her. She struggled regardless of how much they taught her about it. Roar. Ryu, Rin, Fu, and Arturia went outside to investigate the loud roar they heard, only to see a blonde on top of the white dragon approaching them in a red and white dragon. They all appear awestruck. Rin and Arturia in particular. They've heard all their lives about how dangerous that pair was, and now they see their lover riding one as if it didn't happen. After losing to the dragon, they thought Naruto would survive and continue to fight. This was unexpected to them. Naruto yelled, hey guys, as they started to land in front of the manor. Naruto leapt to embrace the girls. With a severe headache, Kurama exclaimed, "WHO the hell is making that noise?" As she left the house. She had a hangover from drinking too much. A lengthy introduction and explanation will follow. The divine pair looked more respectfully at their master after he said, "So you see, I don't really want you two to do the fighting." Naruto claimed he wanted to do it himself, even though the two could have easily taken over the whole West for him. If I don't unite the West myself, I can't call myself a king. I need to do this myself. Do you guys have any way to give power instead? Asked Naruto. I can give you a unique power by giving you part of our soul. Albion concluded. Breaking a part of my soul and giving it to you will give you a pair of white dragon wings called Divine Dividing. The power allow you to divide anyone's power in half and absorb that power. Chakra, prana, or ki-based attack. Divine Dividing also have more power when you become stronger with my power. Or, he turned to his brother, Diedrich. I can give you my blessing. It will improve or give you magic circuit depending on the situation. However, the soul dividing only apply to you, replied Diedrich. Both dragons nodded when I asked, is it okay that I get the divine dividing and the girls get your blessing? Fu, Ryu, Rin, Arturia, and Merlin could always use the boost in their circuit, according to Diedrich's blessing. Like Naruto, Fu and Ryu will acquire a magic circuit while maintaining their chakra network. Shomei's release from prison is made possible by Fu's acquisition of her magic circuit. Kurama, her sister, was pleased to see this. To get stronger for Naruto made Ryu happy. With a bow, Naruto said, "Thank you for your gift. Letting everyone see his new divine dividing wings. I will call on you when I need your help." The two dragons bowed back and flew home. As she looked at Arturia, Fu, and Ryu, Merlin remarked, "Well, this is good. We have great power, but there are some that need training." She turned to Rin and said, 4 new magus is good, but..." She gestured to Rin and said, "You need to teach them." Protesting, "What? Why me, again?" she yelled. "You or Naruto could help me, you know." She smirked and said, "I know. But, I'm taking Naruto with me for a year-long trip." Everyone exclaimed in shock, "What?" getting a nod, realizing the necessity of the Fable group in establishing connections. "Yup. It's time to rebuild the 7 deadly sins. I had no luck finding more members, so I hope that Naruto will help. Besides, this will give him the chance to build up relations with many people and races that I know. Rin, you will train those 4 for the next year, understood?" Rin gave in to her demand, saying, "Fine, I will do it. Naruto, this will be the last night with your girlfriends. Go spend it with them." "Okay," he said, and he and the girls entered the house to spend their final day together before the year was up. Naruto, Rin, and Arturia had a hot night. They made the decision to enjoy one another. Something that they were bidding farewell to the following morning. "Naruto," was said by Ryu and Fu. The 2 girls said, "Agree to return so that we can discuss something." Naruto kissed both of them on the cheek and said, "Okay." Naruto hugged Chome and said, "Goodbye, Chome. I wish we could have spent more time together. Be careful of your big sister, she always gets into trouble." A lovely young woman with green hair. "Hey!" Kurama exclaimed in opposition to that assertion. He said to Caliburn, who was in her sheath by Arturia's side, "Caliburn, look after Arturia for me. You are a great sword that I was lucky to have." Caliburn answered, "I will, my king. Promise to come back alive." He smiled and said, "Of course." Merlin remarked, "Naruto, it's time to go." "Goodbye." In the west, somewhere, as they traversed the region in pursuit of members, Merlin inquired, "So Naruto, how was your trip back east?" "For the most part great, however." Flashback. Not everything about Naruto's brief respite in the elemental nation was pleasant. He was just visiting all of his friends and lending a hand to those in need. Suddenly, he and his friends are the target of a manhunt. During his reunion trip, it was the ideal time to wear full-body knight armor. But it made him a simple target to find. Other groups were interested in them in addition to the Leaf Village, which hunted them down and abducted them. A voice called out to the 3 of them in the campsite, well, look at what we have here." When someone approaches them, Naruto, Arturia, and Rin pull out their weapons and get ready to fight. It turns out to be a pair sporting their trademark hat and a black cloak with red clouds. Naruto questioned the leader, "What does the Akatsuki want with 3 random people?" "We came here to recruit you 3. Seeing how you easily defeated our own leader, Sama hoped that you would join." The leader replied. The 2 removed their hats to show who they were. Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki. Rin identified them from the bingo book she took from a deceased leaf hunter. Nin. While getting Caliburn ready, Arturia stated, "We have no intention to join your organization." "Too bad." Kisame grinned maniacally. As he charged with Samahata, he remarked, "That mean we will take you forcefully." The man in the armor continued to stare down Itachi, who commanded, "Don't kill them, Kisame. Back up Arturia if she needs it, Rin. I will handle this one." Naruto replied. Rin gave his order a nod. Kisami's attack is easily blocked by Arturia. Kisame grinned maniacally and remarked, "You are pretty strong for a girl." Arturia was only enraged by this. She started to shoo the monster of the mist away. She pushed Kisame away and yelled, "Don't think that a woman can't defeat a man." He had a cut on his cheek, which Kisame saw. Kisame struck again, saying, "Haha, looks like I did underestimate you. Next time, I won't let it happen again." Caliburn's prana for the strike started to glow. Samahata attempted to rip it to shreds as soon as their blade touched it. A bewildered Kisame exclaimed, "What's going on? My Samahata should eat the chakra coming off the blade and break it." His statement only caused the 3 to smirk. That grin caught Itachi's attention. She overpowered Samahata once more, saying, "It's not chakra. How can your sword beat mine if it can only eat chakra?" Then, with a slash at the ready, she charged at him. Kisame just managed to avoid it. As he demonstrated some hand signals, Kisame exclaimed, "That is water style." Exploding water colliding wave. Then a huge water wave came toward her and slammed into her. Arturia yelled, "Caliburn!" to her sword. Caliburn exclaimed, "Right!" as she concentrated more prana for her upcoming assault. Hearing her blade talk startled Itachi and Kisame. Caliburn was stabbed to the ground by her. The prana that had been stored up was released underground by Caliburn. Just in front of her, it collapsed, leaving a huge enough crater in the floor for Kisami's jutsu to fill. Avoiding the drawback of fighting on water, Although she was a typical human, she was far more powerful than the one from the east. Although she lacks the ability to perform any unique tricks, she is far more capable than both civilians and ninjas. Itachi went through some hand signals himself to help his partner after saying, "This will take too long." Fire style. Phoenix Sage Fire. Arturia was targeted by several fireballs. Abruptly, a number of weapons emerged from the gold ripples behind Naruto, destroying them. With a nod of appreciation, Arturia continued to assault Kisame. Rin merely watched from the sidelines. With his arm crossed and an intimidating expression on his face, Naruto said, "This is their fight. Don't interfere." Behind Naruto, there were a dozen gold ripples that were just waiting to be let loose and hit Itachi. Itachi repeated his question to, "King, is there any way to persuade you to join the Akatsuki, King?" "No," he answered. Itachi threw some shurikens at him and covered them in fire, saying, "So be it." Fire style. Phoenix Sage Flower Nail Crimson. Naruto only precisely aimed his noble phantasm at them. He ruined them all. Naruto then unleashes Excalibur on Itachi. His target was his head. Quickly, as he prepared his triumph card, Itachi thought, "I can't avoid this or replace myself in time." All around them, a red rib cage started to emerge. The chakra made ribs were too tough for Excalibur to cut through. Excalibur wore her master and said, "Master, be careful. This technique is very powerful." He simply leapt back and looked at Susanoo. As his Susanoo developed a skin, Itachi remarked, "This is Susanoo, the Uchiha's ultimate defense and power." As he pulled a weapon from the gate, Naruto remarked, "Interesting." Kalidbulb. The rainbow sword was it. Itachi squinted at the two swords in his grasp and asked, "I wonder if the Uchiha's ultimate defense can withstand two legendary weapons?" He was unaware that those blades were any kind of legendary weapon. He assumed that they were weapons that had been lost to time. He's half right. While some of the weapons in the gate were lost, others were acquired by individuals. In order to use them without affecting the weapons that are still in use today, the gate transports the weapon out of space and time in the past. He then gathers as much prana as possible into his blades and charges at the humanoid jutsu. He slashes Itachi with both prana-filled blades, saying, "Take this," after which the jutsu is broken into its bone stage. Not good. Itachi analyzed the situation and thought, that was too much power to take on. He yelled, "Kisame!" to get his partner's attention. When he pulled out Susanoo and saw it in that condition, Kisame was taken aback. To get it in that condition, Kisame had to fight in their spars. Naruto completed it without any issues. Itachi then transforms into a flock of crows and vanishes, saying, "We won't win this. Retreat. Go ahead and leave. I have seen enough that I'm strong enough to hold my ground to one of the best in this nation." Arturia replied. It was this nation that Kisame noticed. People would say village or country. Nation, she said, referring to elemental nation. He needed to talk to his partner about this later. Flashback end. In response to his story, Merlin said, "So the Akatsuki are interested in recruiting you three? At least we know that they aren't much to deal with." "True, but they were annoying. We ran into the zombie duo, Hidan and Kakuzu. They were kidnapping the two-tailed Jinshuriki. We stopped them, but we ran into them more often. They tried to kill us or recruit us. However, the Leaf was persistent in their attempt to kidnap us." He groaned. She said, "How so?" Flashback. Damn it. Minato lashed out at his desk with his fist. He screamed in exasperation, "How can they defeat all the 100 ninja I sent?" Minato calmed down. "We knew that they were powerful to take on the Akatsuki on their own. You can't expect that we can kidnap them so easily," Jiraiya stated to his pupil. He fabricated the records of one Saber, one Rin, and one Arturia into the Hidden Leaf records a few weeks ago. Because of their power, everyone tries to kidnap them. Many hunters lost their lives trying to catch them. They were all returned in body bags to the Leaf's front gate, shocking a lot of ninjas and civilians. Even Jiraiya's spies started to vanish as they were being investigated. They were killed, he decided. "I can't keep searching for them. Whoever those three are, they're killing too many ninjas and my spies. We will need all of them against the Akatsuki and Orochimaru in the future." Jiraiya said to Minato with a scowl. He is unable to defend his pupil's choice to keep looking for the three unknowns. Not as the number of causalities increases. "Fine then, Jiraiya, as Hokage, I order you to gather a team and track and capture those three." Minato gave his approval. Jiraiya answered, "Okay, but I'm telling you, it won't end well. You are a Sannin for God's sake. That should be enough to take them down." "Damn it, Minato. They took down members of the Akatsuki. Only one easily overwhelmed two members at the same time. It's safe to assume that the other two can do the same. Doing this will get more killed. I may be a Sanin, but there are limits. Jiraiya began to scream. Weary of the numerous unsuccessful attempts. It reminded me too much of Cloud Village and Orochimaru. He disapproved of the current management of the village. With authority, Minato stated, "You have your orders." After leaving through the door, Jiraiya went to assemble a group of people for a suicide mission. Kushina appeared behind Minato and said, "Minato, are you sure this is the right choice?" He narrowed his eyes at Kushina and asked, "Are you doubting me now?" "No, but..." He concluded by saying, "But nothing. This is all for the leaf." The primary justification he offered to himself and all others. All she did was leave and return home to see how Mito was doing. Jiraiya captured the trio by gathering the best of the leaf. Asuma, Kurenai, Guy, and Kakashi were on the team. They were the best the leaf had to offer and the best in their field. He gives them an overview of the mission. The rogue leaf ninja's name was unfamiliar to Asuma and Kurenai. Guy and Kakashi merely scowled when they learned who their target was. Guy went on about this mission being youthful. Near Lighting Country, they are able to locate them. The rescue of the two-tailed Jinshuriki marks the trio's final task. To avoid attracting the attention of any cloud ninja, the retrieval team waited until they were well away from the border. Then they leaped before the three of them. "Hold up right there. By order of the Hokage, you are to be returned to the leaf. Rin, Arturia, and Saber." Jiraiya replied, to give the impression that they were there to capture renegade leaf ninjas. Arturia said aloud, "They are still on it? They don't even know our full names," Rin replied. Naruto said aloud, "I bet they don't even know that Saber is just a name I made up." Asuma and Kurenai were still unaware of the truth, so their remarks perplexed them. They had orders to apprehend their alleged traitorous comrades, but they failed to recognize them. With a nod from his friends, he said, "Rin, Arturia, I will deal with the guy with big white hair. You guys will deal with rest." Naruto versus Jiraiya, "Why won't you guys leave us alone? We did absolutely nothing against your village," Naruto responded. "Sorry, Saber, but you guys are too powerful to be left alone. The leaf needs your power," Jiraiya replied. As he prepared a number of noble phantasms and wanted to summon his gate, Naruto remarked, "You don't even know my names or who we really are. Then you decided to put us in your bingo book as rogue ninja from your village. That is just sad." Jiraiya recoils at his remark. He never needed to do anything pitiful because he always believed that the leaf was the best. They were above the world, he believed. He is currently in a desperate situation in the leaf village, living out his nightmare. According to Jiraiya, just surrender. Then Jiraiya was met by a dozen noble phantasms. Jiraiya did not escape unharmed. The assault of strong weapons instantly caused him to lose his right arm. "I'm tired of your village. You believe to be gods, but you're far from it. The closest one to God is me. I'm the once and future king," Naruto says. Jiraiya listened to his words despite the pain. King of the past and future. What is the intended meaning of that? Jiraiya pondered as he planned to look into it further. "Give up. I already took away your arm. You won't be able to perform any of your powerful jutsu without both arms. You're just so weak," he chided him. He hurled a Rasengan at him, only for Naruto to easily block the attack with Excalibur. Naruto remarked icily, "This is boring. You are no longer capable of fighting me where many have failed." He then kicked Jiraiya into a wall, removing him from the conflict. As he passed out, Jiraiya thought, "That man is ruthless." Asuma and Kakashi and Guy and Kurenai versus Arturia and Rin. Asuma yelled, "Surrender. We have you outnumbered," at the two girls. Rin said, "True, but..." before Arturia went on. Arturia smirked and said, "We have you outmatched. We each fought Akatsuki members alone. Can you say the same?" causing them all to wince. They were aware that they couldn't defeat them alone because each member was strong. Drop their morale when they learn that they can. Kakashi replied, "It doesn't matter, we will capture all of you." Rin took out several jewels and said, "Hey Arturia, since this isn't a fair fight, you may want to drop the code of chivalry for now." Arturia drew Caliburn and said, "Only this once." The leaf ninjas were taken aback by this new information. "I will take the one in green and the one with one eye. They're close quarters combatants. They may prove to be as strong as Kisame. Shame that we didn't finish our fight." Without a doubt, Kisame is among the Akatsuki's best fighters. After that, she faced her opponents. Arturia versus Guy and Kakashi. As she readied herself to battle the pair, Arturia remarked, "I hope that you two will be better than Kisame. He may be powerful, but my sword skills far surpass his." Kakashi said, "Guy, we can't take any chances." Then he turned on the Mangekyo Sharingan. Guy exclaimed, "All right, gate of opening," as chakra began to shoot out of his body. She said, "Caliburn, any advice?" to her blade. As Caliburn got ready to use magic, she said, "I will prepare for countermeasures. Just be ready to react." Arturia relies on Caliburn to execute any magical attack because she is unable to use prana. A man rushes in to kick, only to avoid it due to Arturia's instinct taking over. Then she turned around and slashed at him. Her reaction time is lightning fast. Guy pondered as he saw her counterattack by moving more quickly. Kakashi leapt between them to deflect her kunai blow. He had the option to attack her, but he didn't want to jeopardize his friendship. The two counter her and leap back. "Kakashi, she moves fast. We won't be able to take her on without taking some hits," Guy stated to Kakashi. "All right. Just keep pressing her and I will look for an opening," Kakashi replied. Guy yelled, "Gate of healing, gate of life," and charged back in. Guy launched a flurry of assaults. All Arturia could do was block them. Guy then leapt over her. Kakashi threw a fireball at Arturia, who noticed. In order to avoid her, she used enough prana when she struck the ball to split it in half. Guy moved in to take her by surprise. She was knocked away, but the majority of the damage was absorbed by her armor. She thought, "This man hits hard," as the kick caused pain in her back. She said, "Are you ready, Caliburn?" She was starting to worry about the altercation. She didn't believe that she could handle both at once. Caliburn, who was glowing golden, said, "Just strike the ugly-looking one. It will take away his power. This technique is linked to his life. I can disturb it." Guy was faster than her, so she went in to attack Kakashi instead. Using a lot of slashes, Arturia managed to keep Kakashi in CQB. Guy then approached and launched a surprise attack on her. This time, she was ready. In order to cut or block his attack, she placed the edge on her back. Guy was moving too quickly to stop. The blade sliced his leg. Then the open gates were slammed shut, and he began coughing up blood instantly. Kakashi yelled, "Guy," out of concern for his companion. He questioned Arturia menacingly, "What did you do?" "I force him to close all the points in his body," resulting in his body destroying itself from the chakra circulating throughout his body. "With all the chakra circulation and the points closed, he's dying," replied Caliburn. "You can leave your partner to die or leave and save his life." "Oh no. But I have to capture them," Kakashi thought. Those who give up on their mission are jerks. When Kakashi heard himself say, "Those who desert their teammates are worse than scum," he remembered his father once more. It's more important that Guy lives. Kakashi grabbed Guy and left the battlefield to get him assistance. "Oh no. What prevented us from bringing a medic?" He pondered in exasperation. The reason was that there were no helpful ninja medics. The only ones who could fight and heal were Shizune and Tsunade, but they departed. Rin versus Kurenai and Asuma. Rin asked them, "Do you really believe that you can capture us?" as blue lines began to appear on her arm and legs. Kurenai informed her, "Even if you defeat an Akatsuki member, you are still outnumbered." To cast a genjutsu on her, she demonstrated a few hand signals. "You do know that each member of the Akatsuki are capable of taking down squads of elite ninjas?" replied Rin. Kurenai exclaimed, "What the hell is going on? You should be in my genjutsu," when she realized her jutsu was not working on her. "Genjutsu work on people that have a chakra network to mess with," replied Rin. Both Leaf Ninja are shocked. It's astounding to learn that she lacks a chakra network. They believe that in order to be powerful, you must have chakra. Rin charged with a strong punch directly at Kurenai. They sent her flying. Asuma yelled, "Kurenai," as he saw his wife take off like a swatted bug. She whispered to Asuma, "You should not take your eyes off your opponent," as she punched him. Asuma used his right arm to block it. "Oh no," mentally, Asuma remarked, "her punches are as hard as Tsunade." Sama. He broke his left arm in the punch. Rin angrily yelled at Asuma, "Come on." Even with the Akatsuki, they managed to not take any damage in the first minute. Asuma uses his trench knife to channel wind chakra. He went to slit her, but it exploded when she threw one of her jewels at Asuma, causing multiple burns to Asuma's back. She asks Asuma to give him a chance to leave, saying, "I can and will kill you if you continue. Don't you have someone back home to go to?" Kurenai. Asuma thought, Konohamaru. He had people to live for. I also wish to have a son. He picked up Kurenai, who wasn't feeling well. After giving those thoughts some thought, he took her and walked away. He knew that attempting to capture any of the three would result in their deaths, and he didn't want to lose Kurenai. As she walked up to her, Arturia said, "You had it easy, Rin. My fight was a little tougher, but nothing I can't handle." Rin inquired, "Did they run away too?" Arturia smiled and said, "Yeah, they did. It at least cared enough to save their comrades." At her core, she was a knight, and she valued those who fought alongside her. Naruto emerged from the bush and exclaimed, "They were too easy. The legendary Toad Sage my ass. Just one wave of noble phantasm and he went down." After a few days, the Leaf team is able to return home. Guy, Kurenai, and Jiraiya were admitted to intensive care. It wasn't good to have a missing arm and a lot of blood lost. Although Guy's chakra network was seriously damaged, he was able to recover over an extended period of time. Kurenai had internal bleeding and several broken bones. Everyone, with the exception of Jiraiya's arm, recovered. From outside the window, Jiraiya informed Minato, "Minato, we have a problem. He was discharged from the intensive care unit a month ago. He went to find Tsunade and see how his spies were doing." When Naruto mentioned her and said he needed her to get her a new arm, he assumed the worst. To learn only that she vanished. Minato stopped working on the paperwork and asked, "What is it?" "I checked with my spies, they lost the three and too many died searching for them. They refused to look for them anymore." Causing Minato to grumble. He frowned and remarked, "Worst, Tsunade and Shizune disappeared." "What? During my fight with King, he mentioned Tsunade. I went to check on her after I got out and she is missing. My spies couldn't find anything on them. I'm afraid that they left or were captured. This isn't good. We can't lose another Sannin. Not to these three unknown. I think she left. I checked and she took both the Scroll of Seals and all the Uzumaki scrolls." "Damn it." Minato yelled angrily. As long as she stayed near the village, he didn't mind her leaving. With the secrets of the Leaf, she now departed the nation. Flashback end. Well, they sound like they won't be a problem in the future. They will be able to easily dealt with if they act up. Merlin responded to his account. Naruto said to Merlin, "Yeah. Who are we going to look for first?" Merlin stated solemnly, "We are searching for the demon race's leader of the 10 Commandments." Naruto was taken aback that they would choose one of the most formidable in the West. "Relax. There have been some issues with him in this race. I think this would be the best chance to get someone strong on our side. Besides, he might be the new leader of the 7 deadly sins."
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.